go. We are live. What's up, everybody?
Well, we are closer to the 10 than the 5.
You were close. You were close. No, I fixed one thing and then I forgot. Oh crap! I still need to do the other thing. It never fails.
I mean, it's not a surprise at this point.
Let's see. I already got that. Okay, let me jump.
A little bit of this, a touch of that, and the other.
Let me jump into chat here so I can see everybody, and then we will be ready to roll here. Everybody's,
Scarlett, that is the one benefit of living in Canada is you can place your beer on the deck and it stays cold.
All right.
Well, that happens in a lot of the U.S. too during the winter. You can keep stuff in your garage or whatever,
Snow beer storage is the best.
I'm sure you can't do that in the summer, even where you are.
All right. Fingers crossed that Discord doesn't robot anybody tonight. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It's only just you. It's not us.
You were roboting last week and you were cutting out. You had to jump out. You had to jump out of chat a couple of times. It was your turn last week. Yeah.
Look, Sweaty. No, that was 2 weeks ago. And that was the one rare time it was happening to a few people. It wasn't just me. People in the audience also said they got cut out.
Oh, okay.
But you do know it's usually you until the thing you finally fixed a couple of weeks ago.
Easter weekend, the family's going to be over for a cookout, and my son said he'd look over the computer and see if I have a memory leak or something. Something's going on. I just finally hooked up my.
Boy, Sweaty, that's pretty impressive. You're still holding it.
No, don't do that.
My boy Elmer Fudd.
I just set up my stream deck. I got my Elgato teleprompter hooked up, and as soon as I hooked up my teleprompter, my computer went, "What? No." That means I had 5 monitors. It's crazy. I don't think I need that.
If you want to hold it the whole time, that's impressive.
All right.
That's what me and Fudd do.
I think we're good, guys. Let's podcast. Let's get going here.
You know how I knew it was fake also? I mean, I knew anyways, but like it was too clear. When they actually cut out, it gets a little pixelated usually. But you were like perfectly clear still.
We're good. All right. What's up, Dad Bod? All right. Let's do this. Got a lot to do tonight, so let's get going.
Hell yeah.
Here we go. 3, 2. What's up, Guardians? Welcome to episode 350. Yeah. Of the newly branded Guardian Down Roundtable. I'm Todd DeGator. Join me and my co-host Kingsley Mack as we invite a rotating guest list of co-hosts every week to join us at the Guardian Down Roundtable, where every gamer has a seat, trying out some different things. Let's see what sticks. Our mission's simple tonight: to create a dialogue concerning topics and news that impact our gaming hobby, all while keeping the focus on the community. We go live every Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern on my Todd the Gator YouTube and Twitch channels, as well as our Discord live stage. And once a month, we will invite a new member from our Discord community to pull up a chair and share their story with us. We are a live video show, and we do produce an audio version of our show every Monday morning, and I mean early Monday morning. We love live shows, and we love interacting with our chat. So if you're in the chat tonight, be sure to jump in and interact with us. If you got your comments or questions, be sure to put them in the chat tonight. We'll be sure to address them when we see them pop up. But let me get things started here with my co-host from the great state of Utah, Mr. Kingsley Mack. How you doing tonight, Mike?
Hey, I'm doing great. And yeah, it's actually not just me, for 3/4 of the U.S., we get the podcast on late Sunday night.
Oh, that's right. That's right. It's 12. Yeah. It's 12.
Because Eastern is the only
2 Eastern. That's right. You do get it on Sunday night.
3/4 of the U.S. gets it on Sunday.
Yes. That's right. Dang, he called me out. Maybe I'll need to move it forward to 3:01. Anyway.
There you go. That would fix it.
Is it gotten any cooler in Utah, or is it still hot as blazes over there in the west?
Actually, but this is just a little system going through. I was looking at the map, and it's coming from western to central Canada this time versus more a little further east. So right now, actually, it's we've had some rain and stuff and almost snow where I live, and it's just in the nice cool 40s and 50s. And
nice.
So we'll probably be back up to 80s next week. So
it was 84 today. Yeah, and we're square past. We go from like comfortable winter to summer. We don't get a spring. Other than the oak trees are dropping like so much pollen right now. Our cars are coated in yellow. They have a yellow sheen to them. The craziest thing. My dog's itching like crazy. I got him on an allergy pill. My wife's coughing, and we're all like breathing in all this oak pollen, and it's just so strong this time of year. And you walk in at night, it's so humid and moist, you can smell the pollen sticking everything. It's spring, baby. It's spring. It's spring in Florida.
Is this about me or you?
I don't know. I might have shared too much. Hey, let's introduce our guest tonight. Our first guest co-host was initially on our show back on episode 207, titled Baking and Destiny 2 from July of 2023. Man, how time flies. She's also been on a couple of our Roundtable episodes, and we were testing stuff out over the years as well. She is one of the main bakers in a vegan bakery, and if you need advice on a perfect dessert, she's your girl, especially if you have celiac disease. She has been part of my community for over 3 years now. We've always had a great conversation with her, and we've invited her back tonight from the great state of Pennsylvania. It is MohawkAngel. How you been?
I'm good. I'm so happy to be back. I love chatting with you guys.
Yeah, it's so fun. You'd always get right into chat with us, and I said, that's such a bubbly personality, and just always really gets into the topics and stuff. So thank you again for coming on tonight. This is going to be a fun night.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you even have a really good topic too that we definitely want to get into. Our second guest co-host has been a part of our community for over 6 years now. He's one half of the Blueberry Lounge podcast, which I was on, I believe, last week. He's a streamer, a podcaster, and a music maker, and we're so happy to talk with him tonight from the birthplace of Canada and the wonderful province of Prince Edward Island of Canada. Please welcome back Mr. SweatySpookz. How you been, man?
Hey, thanks for having me back, guys. SweatySpookz in the house, otherwise known as Colby. But everybody pretty well just knows me as Sweaty or Spooky.
Nice, man. I know you're participating with injuries tonight, so I appreciate you sticking it out, man, and hanging there with us. And I think you said you might have to duck out later in the show, and so if you guys see a out sick Post-it note over his window down later in the show, that's why. He's just gone through a lot today, and not to mention he's fighting some injuries, some physical injuries too. So thank you again, Sweaty. Appreciate you, man.
Well, yes, the wonderful thing about Canada is the winters here. Just so happens sometimes whenever you take your garbage out that you're met with some ice at the top of a staircase, and you find yourself suddenly at the very bottom and not landing in a pretty position. So thankfully I'm all right. Nothing serious. Most of the pain is gone by now, but it's pretty difficult to do any sort of heavy lifting. Yeah. And I did do a full workday shift. So I'm a little sore, and yeah, it's been a day, but you know what? I said I was going to show up. I pulled through. I'm here, and here to give it my best effort. So here we are.
I appreciate you, man. And yeah, Stance. Go ahead, Kingsley.
Oh, just real quick. Sorry about the injury, man. I grew up in a warm area without snow. So whenever I hear about someone getting injured from cold weather areas, I get so pissed off. I'm like, sucks that happens.
Yeah.
That's life. Yeah.
Yeah. And answer your question in the pre-show. Yes. If there was snow on the ground in Florida, we would not know what to do with it. That's for damn sure. And not even mention ice. I wouldn't even know what to do.
You lick the yellow snow. That's what you do with it.
Is that what you do? Okay. Even if it's yellow, even if it's a little yellow. Okay. All right.
It's like that. It's really flavorful.
It's
Kingsley, that's a tip that I give when people ask for tips at restaurants too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, thank you guys for coming on tonight. It's good to catch up with you guys, and we'll catch up a little bit more later in the show. But first, what's going on tonight? What are we doing on the show tonight? First, we're actually gonna start things off by hearing MohawkAngel's topic for tonight, where she asked the question: is gaming dying? Or put it another way, why are we so quickly bored of newly released video games today? Next, Kingsley Mac is back in with his Kingsley's Corner with a K, where we'll catch up with any current news or gaming or tech or whatever Kingsley has on his mind this week. Next, we're going to take a break from the discussion, check in with our weekly Destiny Roundup, where we'll highlight any news and information concerning Bungie, Destiny 2, and Marathon. Then it's on to our topic number 3, where Mr. SweatySpookz here will help explain to me why Pokemon and its collector card community has become so phenomenally successful these days. He'll break that down for us. And then for the final topic of the show, I'm going to do something I've never really done before, and that is bring a topic that was submitted by our community. And it was such a great topic that I'm really curious where everyone here stands on it. So I'll explain later in the show about that. Next, I'm going to give my review of my March game of the month, and that is Marathon. after which point we'll shift gears into our catch-up segment where everyone will express and share what they've been doing, any highlights of their week or their month for that matter. And at the end of the show, if time allows, we'll answer questions from our community. So if you have any questions for us, the only place to put them is our podcast questions channel in our Discord community, and we might read them aloud tonight on the show. And remember, if you want to send us a voicemail or an email, remember to go to guardiandowncast.com to find out more about how to do that. So if everyone's ready, let's roll. All right, good deal. Mohawk, you ready to do this?
Yep.
Cards in hand, ready to roll? You'll be fine. This will be fun. Yeah. This will be fun. All right, here we go.
My notes are handwritten like a caveman.
That's fine. There's no problem with that.
You're way too pretty for that. I don't accept that.
No, she's talking about her handwriting is probably better than mine. Mine's really bad. It's arthritis and carpal tunnel and a bowler's hand where my fingers don't even align right. Anyway,
how to curl.
Yeah, they kind of curl a little. Okay, here we go. 3, 2. All right, first off, we're starting with MohawkAngel from Pennsylvania. What do you got for us tonight?
Well, you already introduced my my topic, and I asked the question: is gaming dying?
Mm-hmm.
And are gamers getting bored or uninspired? I feel like in the past several years, when a new game drops, it's broken, underwhelming, unfinished, or we're all over it in just a matter of weeks. When's the last time you bought a game at release and were truly satisfied by it? Marathon aside, I know y'all enjoy your marathon. I did not, which is fine. I don't think I'm alone in thinking that gaming just isn't what it used to be. When a game came out, it became your favorite game for a few months. The first one I remember I couldn't put down was Borderlands 3. I still get cravings to play it, to rerun the story just one more time. I did start it 6 months after release, but that's beside the point. Now it's the same thing over and over again. New release, big hype, and 2 weeks later, we're over it. Marathon aside, again, the player base is killing it. Y'all are so hyped over this game, and I love it.
Okay. Yeah.
Are games not designed to last anymore?
That's a good question.
Or are they officially designed to spike interest? Marvel Rivals, for example, it's a big game I play. There's a huge community created by Elmer Fudd and Slice of Beef, if y'all know who those people are. We see tons of hype for a new character, a new map, even a new game mode. And then 3 weeks later, engagement drops off, lobbies are hard to get into, and matches are just kind of boring. I don't remember the last time I got super excited over a match, and don't even get me started about competitive. But that's another thing. Game boredom. Aren't games supposed to keep us from getting bored in the first place? Battle passes, challenges, weekly objectives. We're not playing for fun anymore. We're doing chores for cosmetics, currency, emotes, and more. On top of it, the passes cost money. So you better get them done so you don't waste your money. Have you stopped playing a game the moment you finish a battle pass? I do it with Rivals all the time. I finish it, I buy it, and then bam, I have the cosmetics. What am I supposed to do with them now? Cool, I'll wear them. But I probably only care about one character in the list of 8 that received cosmetics for that battle pass. The biggest example, I think, for all of this is Fortnite. We're finally seeing Fortnite start to decline after 9 years of gameplay. 2017, Fortnite officially came out. It's not dead, but it's also not dominating in the ways that it used to. We've recently seen the releases of characters like Sabrina Carpenter, the girls from K-pop Demon Hunters, and Chapel Roan. All fantastic ads. But it was to get quick engagement. And I know a lot of lady gamers hopped on all 3 of those. Because, yeah, it's exciting. And they know it too. Because Epic just dropped 1,000 of its employees. Because they know that their game is declining. And they don't have the funds anymore to keep all of those people around. But maybe it's us. Maybe we're insatiable. I can count on one hand how many games actually have my attention right now. Phasmophobia, Marvel Rivals, Arc Raiders, and maybe Rainbow Six Siege. Oh, and Fortnite. I'm kind of on a Fortnite kick. But we're cycling through them and just can't stick around. I know when Destiny 2 had all of its changes, with power level and all of that, we saw a huge decline of its player base. Because it's not what we loved. Everything got changed around so quickly. Although maybe our expectations are also just too high for games these days. So I asked the question, so are games getting worse and dying, or have players just changed?
It's a good question. Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, yes, very well done. I actually, my topic kind of ties in a little bit. It kind of cabooses on to the end of your statement. But anybody want to answer that question first before I chime in?
Well, I mean,
go ahead, Sweaty.
Oh, okay.
Guess first.
Apologies, Mike.
Yeah, of course.
Essentially,
guess first,
a lot of the bigger names and titles, in my opinion, I'll say, a lot of them aren't really coming up with original creativity. In my opinion, a lot of it is a rehash of something that at one point had great success with the hope of chasing the coattails and the success of a different company. So like, as an example, I like Marathon. I play Marathon. I enjoy Marathon. But I feel like Marathon was chasing the success of a different company that had great success at the point that it came out due to the fact that it was original curiosity. Maybe not original, because there were ideas in terms of extraction shooters that were bouncing around, but somebody got the recipe correct. And they started to, and I don't just mean Bungie, and I just using this as an example, but like in the spectrum as a whole of all the big name companies that are pushing out games, they're all doing the same thing. Whereas you get Arc Raiders, which is, you know, they're not really an indie studio anymore. They're actually a company of former EA employees that didn't agree with the business models and things like that. And they wanted the freedom to explore their creativity and come out of the guide rails that were placed by the corporates and to flex their creativity again. You know, it's like an artist giving different colors of paint rather than the same 5 to paint more pictures with, as an analogy. So I think what we're seeing is we're seeing different paintings, but it's all the same paint until somebody comes along and has a palette of different paints and colors. They can paint a different picture, which feels more refreshing to the end user, so they're more engaged in it. But that experience is now at a point where it's becoming far and few in between, in my opinion. And I think that's just kind of like a very generalized synopsis of what's going on.
Kingsley, you had something you wanted to say?
Yeah. First of all, I'm mesmerized by your headphones, Mohawk. They're lit up, right?
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, she wore those last time.
Great topic. And of course, I'm going to have a nuanced answer. And I definitely agree with what you're saying, but I think I'm coming from it from a different point of view. The answer is both, and I'll tell you why. Because first, as far as people like how they play games, we all know that's definitely a personality thing.
Mhm.
I even sometimes get a little confused how some people go from game to game quickly. And that's not always entirely a game's fault. Some people do like moving from games just quickly, like more of that. You can call it ADHD style, or it's not even necessarily just that. It's some people like to sample things. And I lean more that way, although I know people that are way more hardcore than me in some groups that are like playing a game hard for like 3 days and they move on to another game. So that alone, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're that type of person that you don't even have to say you're necessarily getting bored with it, that the game is at fault, but it's just your kind of your personality. You like to move around to different games. I've actually had, just to answer your one question, good games lately. There's been tons of good games I've loved. And some of these games have been around for a while, but they've had updates recently. But I just made a quick list while you were talking. The Division, Diablo Seasons, Clair Obscur, Crimson Desert, Ghost of Yotei, Resident Evil. I could go on. Like, I still think there's plenty of good games coming out that keep my interest. But that being said, I think more of the fault is probably, if I had to put a percentage, more of the fault is on the game developer side. And this goes along with something I've been saying for a long time, actually, on the show and other places, that I think we've said it everyone's said it for years, but like, I really think we're coming up here quick on a huge gaming correction where we are going to have less games this year in general. Games are getting spread out more and more. And we're going to have a huge downturn, a big correction, and due to several reasons. I mean, costs, both on their side and also on consumer side, not having enough money to buy all the games. Companies being greedy, firing people, even if a game's doing okay, and then you set this circular motion where you have less developers to make the next releases good. We're just going to have a period of time where we're going to have less games coming out, or they're going to have bigger and wider times before the next game. So I do think there's definitely some issues that are going to cause us to have things like that. But I think there's still plenty of games that people can have interest with out there if they look around. Maybe people haven't looked at indie games, or maybe they haven't looked at some of these other games. And hey, if you're the person that has the ADHD personality of like doing a game for like a few days or a couple weeks and then moving on, there's nothing wrong with that. As long as you then realize that, well, you may run out of games at some point sooner than other people. And maybe that's okay too. Maybe then you move on to watching a TV show or something else. So, of course, that's my nuanced answer, as always.
Yeah, JD Kent in the chat says, if you played games since the 80s, and I have, every game feels like something I've played before. When was the last time you played a game that was inventive? It was Destiny 2. Actually, Destiny.
I played lots. I just mentioned a bunch.
Yeah. Destiny was the first game that broke me away from my siloed community of Call of Duty. And graphics absolutely are better in new games. But the systems in place have to be there to create that loop, that activity loop, right? I wrote down a couple notes here. I think one of the main things that we are so picky about games, or maybe that we get bored so quickly, is the fact, Mohawk, that investors have gotten their greedy little hands in how developers make games these days. And publishers put the pressure on the developer, and they have this cookie cutter mentality of how to slap a game together and then smack it on the ass and send it out. And that's why I think, well, I mean, that's the way I envision it. Cause I think a lot of games are released today, and you're like, who wants this game? Or you look at this game and you're like, where is the progression? Where is the loop? What's going to keep me coming back to play this game? And, it just seems like you want my wallet every time I turn around. There's something it's getting flashed in my face as far as some kind of microtransaction. And that gets in the way sometimes of games. But here's the thing too. We talked about this a couple shows ago. There's 20,000 games released in 2025. That's a lot of games to compete with. And when Bungie released their game in 2014, there were only 75 games competing with it. So times have changed, man. I've been through this cycle before. Maybe you have too, Kingsley. It might be a little too early for you, but I remember the end of the Atari years when there were so many Atari console games out. They all played, they all looked the same. I mean, there were 8-bit graphics. I mean, you really can't go much more, can't really do much with that. but we were flooded with these Atari games, and they've got more and more abstract, and there just wasn't anything inventive that was fun to play. There was probably a few exceptions, but then, like I said, Nintendo came out and changed the whole game. They brought out different graphics. They brought out all kinds of different types of games that we loved. And, you know, Duck Hunt. I mean, think of it. You got a freaking gun. You're shooting ducks in the air, and the dog's always getting in your way. Things like that. I think we're to that today. I think we're to a point where we need to make that next big leap in gaming. And I don't think we're there yet. I think we're at that saturation market where everybody puts out a game now. And I think there's just so much competition now that if we don't like the game within the first, 2 or 3 hours of playing it, we move on to something else. And that, again, that ties into my topic tonight. So I don't want to go down too much.
And it's not just for people not liking the game. There's plenty of people that do like the game and they move on.
Absolutely. And
don't think that people that play a couple hours don't like the game.
Yeah. But our attention span, I guess, has been with social media and this stupid phone that we carry around all the time. It's trained us not to pay attention very long or to get easily distracted and shift our focus on I think that might have.
I would say
I know I'm stretching
there. Have that personality.
Yes.
It's not. I wouldn't blame it on social media. It's okay to have an ADHD personality where you move from. My wife is like that, and there's nothing wrong with that.
But what my point is on there with Kingsley is not so much that we're all goldfish brain now. It's just that we've been trained to be that way now more than ever. I mean, before there were phones, we didn't have these distractions all the time. We didn't have this input. We didn't have this dopamine rush every time we looked at something, And then the third thing I wrote down was a lot of communities are siloed. We have a lot of communities. Mohawk, you mentioned them. Fortnite, Call of Duty, Counter-Strike too. All these games have their own communities. Roblox, just talked about that last week. They have these siloed communities where they go in these communities and they're never seen again. That's all they play is they're Roblox players. And you never see them trying other games because they go down those, what I call the black hole games, the games that you just are always playing the new version of, but it's the same stuff, but that's just what you like to play. And you play the same thing over and over again. And when something new comes out, you're like, it's not Destiny. I'm out. Oh, that's not Call of Duty.
No, that's just you. That's just you.
It's not Call of Duty. It's not Call of Duty. Doesn't have the same controls as Call of Duty. I'm out. Or it's not Fortnite. You get used to your comfort games, and I think it comes a point where you're very, very sensitive to any new games that come out. You tend to be overly critical of it. And anyway, I won't go down the rabbit hole too far there because my topic kind of overlaps a little bit on this one. So, Mohawk, you have anything you want to say in response or?
No, not really, but I will say Destiny, it's still one of those games that I can't find anything that scratches the itch to want to play it, but I can't bring myself to come back. And I can't tell you why I can't bring myself to come back, but I've tried, Warframe. My husband just tried to get me on Division 2. I can't stand the graphics of Division 2, so I don't think I will play that.
Oh, don't tell Kingsley.
But Warframe just does not do it for me. And I know a lot of Destiny players went to Warframe. Yeah. Just nothing scratches the itch quite like playing Destiny 2 would. Yeah. It's also massive on Xbox, so I just that's my biggest reason why I won't come back. It's a massive game.
It is. It's very big.
I do miss it.
Well,
I was wondering, is there any other, if you happen to know things that are coming out this year or whenever, is there anything you're looking forward to?
If it does release, I'm kind of looking forward to GTA 6.
Yes, we've all been waiting.
Right on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Florida, man.
And I think a lot of this, just in my opinion, in terms of the main concern here, mostly relates to multiplayer games. Because the thing that single player games, because it's a single player, they have to make sure their world that they've created for you is robust and to keep you engaged. And the other thing, Kingsley mentioned in terms of personalities, different genres and personality traits and all that whatnot, Kingsley likes exploration games. So if there's a game that has exploration, there is a unimaginable like depth that you can go to when it just comes to exploration alone. Compound that maybe with collecting, compound that with maybe lore. So like there's never a shortage of busy work. But like as an example, Claire Obscura, I've heard nothing but good stuff. I haven't played it from beginning to end myself yet, but fantastic single player game, right? So I'm thinking that the biggest genre that's affected by this is multiplayer games, in my opinion.
Yeah, it can be, because I will say that for me, but see, some still do better than others. Like,
Yeah.
the way, however, Diablo and Division are seemingly able to keep their seasons going, it keeps me interested. And Destiny used to kind of be able to do that, but not as much these days. So so you're right. When you're doing games that are live service, that is probably definitely way more on the company side than the person's side, because it's hard to put out continual content all the time for live service games, and a lot of companies can't do it well, and a few can, and yeah, that's a hard one. Sorry.
Hey, it's a great topic, Mohawk. When you mentioned it, I'm like, yes, go with that one, because it definitely happens. I mean, we don't catch ourselves, but yeah, we are so. Oh, I can't talk, because I mean, all I did was play Destiny for the longest time, and I'm kind of seeing the light now. I'm forcing myself to play a game every month now, and it's opened my eyes to not getting so frustrated when I don't know how to play the game right off the bat. Realize it's a learning process, and once I take that in and realize that every player goes through this, even though their comfort game is shooting aliens in the face, it's nice. It's a nice change. I got to say it is. And with the Destiny, the reason why you can't get yourself to come back to Destiny, it's out of sight, out of mind, Mohawk. Because if you're in the Destiny world and you're playing Destiny every day, you're getting reinforced by that dopamine. But when you get there's nothing to play, and Bungie drops the ball and doesn't talk to us for 6 months, you tend to wander into these other communities, and that's why you play Marvel Rivals and other games like that. And that's where your friends are playing, so that's where you're going. Makes perfect sense.
This does kind of tie in, I think, to your topic, or it might have been a past topic. The new player experience is also a big thing.
Yeah.
I'm very picky about the games that I choose. But like, if the tutorial isn't good, I'm even picky about graphics. If I don't like the way the graphics look, I'm done.
I'm very picky. Think about it. I'm so old. I played the first 8-bit games that were out. Think about what we play now with freaking almost video realistic, almost photorealistic games. And I have very high level. I have a very high bar when it comes to graphics. So it's a good topic. I'm glad you brought it up tonight. Thank you for bringing that to the table tonight. Appreciate you. Let's move on to our next segment. That's going to be Mr. Kingsley Mack. Be right back. I'm going to quit saying be right back and do the transitions. Yeah, I'm going to quit doing transitions. I think in the future, I'm just going to end it and then immediately move on. But
Kingsley's corner,
it is good to sometimes talk, though. But yeah,
I don't like it being
like if we have a question or whatever.
Well, yeah, but I don't like it being so structured all the time where I feel like I'm recording it for.
We could still pause if we needed to, but less formal or whatever.
But that's the reason I say that is because it just tells everybody that hey, we're moving on, and that way it makes it a nice clean ending. So I don't know which is better. Anyway, okay.
Whatever.
All right, you ready, Kingsley? Let's keep rolling, man. Here we go. All right, for our second topic tonight, you know who it is. It's Mr. Kingsley Mack with his Kingsley's Corner. So what's on your mind tonight, Mike? What do you want to talk about, man?
Yeah. I was only going to talk about one thing, but I have a second really quick thing I'm adding in, because some really great news about RAM prices are starting to fall. And not by tons, but this is really good news, because the reason why they're falling is actually because of, I don't know if anyone's heard, but there was a massive OpenAI RAM deal that collapsed because, again, these companies are crazy. OpenAI just wrote on paper that they were going to buy a lot of RAM, but already they're starting to pull back on not wanting to spend so much money on AI stuff and realizing that they may not have the money to do so. So that immediately helped RAM prices, because guess what? if OpenAI is not gobbling it all up, then consumers and the regular market can start getting RAM a little bit easier again. And they haven't dropped tons yet, but if this continues, we actually could be looking towards the best case scenario, which I was thinking was going to be more medium to worst case. But best case scenario, by a lot of this RAM dropped from $5 to $40 depending on the kits. Well, we could be looking best case scenario by later this year at some pretty okay RAM prices again. So it's still too early to say entirely, but I don't know. I thought this was kind of great news.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the financing deal fell through for them, if I remember correctly. If I remember reading the story right, I may be wrong, but maybe that's why the deal didn't go through, where they were going to buy a bunch of.
There's a lot of things going on that it doesn't even really matter because companies can move money around. But ultimately, if they decide that whatever reason or excuse they want to give, but if they decide that it's not going through anymore, then that's helping us out.
Yeah, I got you.
We've said a lot of things on AI in the past on the show, and I have nothing against it. I just think it needs to slow down a little bit. And if this is going to happen, then that's a good correction. I don't want to see a correction of video games, but I do want to see a correction of AI. Not a cancellation, just a correction.
Oh yeah, I got words on that later. Yep, definitely.
Yeah. All right, but the main topic I was going to talk about is Apple's brilliant strategy with AI, chatbot stuff. Now, you may be thinking like, wait, what? Like Apple's not doing anything good with that. Well, that is true. But they finally, by sitting back and being patient and trying to decide what they were going to do, what's coming up here is going to be brilliant. Basically, the next update coming out, iOS 27, Mac 27, Apple's going to be promoting this as a smaller update. Because, sometimes people get a little overwhelmed, like, oh, we have another update this year. We don't need new features. We just want to keep things stable. Well, it's going to be one of those updates where they're saying we're not really focusing on new features. We're just trying to stabilize everything and slow things down. But the one big thing they're doing is we're finally going to have full AI integration. But here's what they're doing. Now, they're still going to be using the Siri name, but Siri is going to tie into stuff. Now, we already kind of know this a little bit. I had been talking about for a while how Apple is working with Gemini with Google to be the AI. So out of the box, if you don't do anything else, Siri will be using the Gemini models, right? So Siri will finally work great. Everything's going to be good there. But Apple's going to be opening up to every other company. If you want to use ChatGPT, if you want to use Claude, if you want to use whatever, the X1, whatever, you can have a plugin so that it's still Siri in name and fully integrated on your phone and your computer, but it's using that chat system that you get to pick. And here's where the brilliance comes in. It's going to be an AI marketplace. Apple is not making any of the AI, but they're going to make money off of it, because if you integrate it into Siri, you go to the App Store and you're like, oh, I'm going to buy the ChatGPT subscription, which of course, the money's going to ChatGPT. Except for the 30%. Apple makes the 30% off of that because that's the marketplace right there. So Apple's going to be raking in millions and billions off of all these other AI companies.
Jeez.
And the consumer can pick whatever one they want. I think this is brilliant.
It's smart because they're not participating in the AI race like all these other crazy companies are.
Yep.
They're not on a rocket course to the moon hoping that someone lands and doesn't blow up in pieces. That's a smart way to approach it. I think just use what everyone else is coming up with and integrate it into your system. I mean, how many trillions of dollars is Apple worth? I mean, it's just insane, man.
Because Google's not going to do that. Of course, they want everyone to use Gemini, but Apple's going to promote Gemini for if you want the free thing, but you can use any one you want, and then Apple can make a cut off of that.
I love that, because right now I'm using Gemini on my Apple phone, but through the Gemini app on my Apple phone. But I asked Siri and she's like, well, do you want to go to ChatGPT to talk about it? I'm like, no, I want you to give me the answer right now. We're so spoiled with AI these days.
And that should be getting better. That's because when Siri finally has full Gemini backing her,
that's good,
versus the dumb Siri that she is right now.
I'm a big Gemini 3 user. I love Gemini of all the other models out there. I haven't used Claude, but my wife says she likes Claude, but I don't know. What do you guys think of this? Apple piggybacking on the AI race, but not actually involving themselves in it. Does that appeal to you guys at all? Or,
I mean, it makes sense. It might even seem like common sense. If I were to draw parallels, it would be something similar to what like cell services do
Mhm.
in order for your signal to reach different areas. So, I mean, why not?
It's like Mint Mobile using AT&T's towers. It's kind of the same thing. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. What do you think, Mohawk? Any comment?
Yeah, I'm a ChatGPT user.
Okay.
I don't know. It would be kind of nice to not have to, open an app or open my browser to ask it just the lamest question. I asked it
Yep.
to help me fix a bread recipe the other day. It was great. I feel like the ease of use would be really nice.
Especially on Apple
Yeah,
products.
it's coming. It's
Yeah, there
coming,
are a lot
and
of
if you
people
want,
against like the AI everything for multiple reasons, but
Mm.
I really do think it's going to be helpful in the long run.
oh yeah, well, as we've said on the show in the past too, AI is such a nuanced topic. There's things that are good about it, there's things that are bad about it, and you just have to know
Absolutely.
what's good or what's bad. And yeah,
Isn't that
exactly.
everything these days?
Seems
There's
like
Yep.
there's good and bad of everything. Like pick your poison. Yeah. I
Yeah.
will say I'm not a fan of AI in terms of creating art.
Oh yeah, I knew you were going to say. I 100% agree. No one
this
is
is
in favor of that, right?
this is my shit.
Well, hopefully
Well,
not. But I don't know.
it's not even that. It's the other forms of art. It's not even like your typical artist. It's your cake decorators. And I was just talking to Gator about this
Oh.
in the Patreon lounge chat
Mhm.
about how people have been sending me, even my own mother sent me AI created
That's right.
cake decor. And
How am I going to create
it
this?
it cannot be recreated
Oh my gosh.
at any sort of human skill level. Like I had someone ask me for a cake design, it's probably 2 months ago, with these like shimmering realistic beta fish
Oh
and
my
like
God.
not even in a combination of rice paper or like sugar wafer paper and fondant could you create these damn beta fish. I was like, nope, can't do it. Absolutely not. Go find someone else who might be willing to attempt it, but I'm not.
Jeez. Yeah. Scarlet Maddie says in chat, with AI, it's like if they're close to creating very powerful intelligence, why don't we just point it at itself and tell it to figure out how to self-optimize and use less power, water, and server space? Maybe we can't, I don't know, I'm just flowing through the noggin here. Just don't create any meta stable AI. We don't need Durandal. Durandal? I don't understand that reference. Sorry. Is that a Magic the Gathering phrase or something?
I get what he's saying, but it could get in a much longer discussion.
Marathon
but,
AI. Thank you. Sorry, Maddie. I failed that one. I should have known that one. I should have known that reference.
Your
Sorry.
pop quiz is
Sorry.
a 0 out of 10.
That is 0 out of
I
10.
know. I
that's for
feel like
sure.
I know Marathon better than Todd does some days.
Oh man. Yeah, you guys aren't gonna. Anyway. Good topics, Kingsley. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Anything else you want to mention before we move on?
That is all.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Let's move on to our Destiny Roundup segment right after this. All right, so now as our homage to our roots as a Destiny podcast, we check in with Bungie. Just check in, see what's going on with Destiny 2 and now Marathon, I suppose. So here we go. First, in Marathon, they just had an update where they fixed an issue allowing slide cancel animations to keep momentum when either pulling out of equipment or the Thief's grapple device ability. So they fixed that. Little bitty things like the pinwheel. The destroyed wing entrance has been reopened now. There's improved overall loot rewards. A lot of little nitpicky things in there if you want to go through it. Even some of the UI and UX stuff. The escape key will now exit key binding menu instead of exiting settings. Anyway, and they fixed an issue causing certain codex entries to appear blank when viewing in Chinese. That's more of a localization issue. So yeah, they're always improving and tweaking things. I did want to mention this. Joe Ziegler today did tweet out that there is a balance shakeup coming. He says, we're looking to make some changes in the next couple of patches to adjust some of the outliers in the combat space that we've both seen in our observations and heard from the feedback all across our various and plentiful channels we watch. Some of these changes will likely be coming in the next patch. The next set will likely be arriving a week after. So here's some areas they're focusing on. Bubble shields being too easy to get, too powerful to use. The knife scaling is too easily to godlike power levels. Thermal scopes being way too present and dominant. Snipers being too strong in all scenarios. And they're going to give Vandals and Recon a little more oomph to match their counterparts. Yeah, they are a little weak. Also, we're adding some stuff that can help add texture to the outcomes of fights. And there's a couple secret things he mentioned here. A new item to give solos a more common option when downed. Prison pocket, maybe? Probably not.
Be that,
probably not.
But
probably not. Secret, another secret, a new item to give more merciful option between crews. There'll be a lot more goodies in the upcoming patches and more details as the patch notes go live. Thank you again for keeping the feedback flowing. Yada, yada, yada. Thank you, Joe Ziegler. Yeah, he's communicating a lot. As far as this week.
Amazing news.
Yeah, it is. It's good.
Wait, hold on. I mean, this is again, this is huge news.
Yes,
like
yep.
And by the 14th at the latest, the 7th or the 14th, all this will be coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And it shows you again, we know this is Desert Crimson, we know this is Marathon. Games can come out with updates quickly and make a lot of great changes.
Yeah.
And again, we're probably not seeing that in Destiny, mostly because of the engine, but also because they're just not putting as much development into it. But
we're
I just think
talk
it's
about
amazing. I don't look, two things can be true. And just because it's not happening in Destiny doesn't mean I'm not happy that it's happening in Marathon. I think it's amazing news. Really good news for all the people that like Marathon, that all these updates are coming through quick.
Yep, definitely. You can tell it's an updated engine. It's more flexible and they can make changes to it much quicker than they can in Destiny, it seems. All right, this week in Destiny for April 2nd, 2026, we have loads of info here, guys. Oh, shoot, April Fool's is already over. Never mind. We have a community within Guardian Games, week 2. It's called Guardian Games Gold. This Guardian Games, we want to see the contributions of your team's victory in action, whether it's your boss melting skills and rush remixed, your best in class fashion sense of your class, or your most heroic pose on the tower podium as you score medallions for your team. Show us how you're celebrating this year's event in our new community challenge going for the Guardian Games Guardian. Geez, I sound like I was from Milwaukee or something. Community challenge going for the Guardian Games Gold. The rules are simple. Capture a moment, a highlight, or the kind of incredible feat that best represents how you're delivering the W for your class in this year's Guardian Games. We know that's a rather broad proposition, but it's very intentional. You can make art, take a cool screenshot, assemble a video montage, even craft puppets and stage a play. The choice is up to you. Capture a minimum of 2 screenshots for your submission. For submission formats other than screenshots, please include 2 work in process images. We like to see your work. No AI. Post the submission to Blue Sky, Twitter, Instagram, or Reddit, and include the hashtag Guardian Games Gold to help us find it. That's pretty much it. And to reward you for your effort with a golden age emblem shown below, and it's pretty nice. You'll have a bunch of pics on the April 9th TWID, and then a second set of pics on the April 16th TWID. So there you go. That's pretty much it, guys. That is all we got from the TWID this week. So that's it. That's all we got this week for our Destiny Bungie Marathon Roundup segment. So we're going to move right along to Mr. SweatySpookz when we return. Wow, what's so funny?
He's been trying so hard not to laugh for like the past 5 minutes.
What's that? What
This is all red.
I missed it. What is it?
You can use your butt for a safe pocket if you need in Marathon.
Your butt. Oh, God.
I said everyone wants to put something in their
When playing
butt.
Marathon solo, you don't have teammates watching angles, calling out enemies, or covering you while you loot. Safe pockets give you a way to bank your progress mid-run. This means if things go sideways, and they will, you're not starting from 0 every time. You're slowly stacking wins instead of risking it all in one perfect run. To me, it feels like that makes games playing solo a bit more rewarding, since you wouldn't lose that piece of gear you're not willing to part with. Yeah.
But this game, you're supposed to start from 0 each time. That's how they made the game.
Pocket protector. I don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to be a safe pocket. I got more to say about Marathon a little later in the game, so we'll just keep moving here. I know.
Let me guess, you don't like it even though I warned you?
No, we'll see. All right, Sweaty, you ready, man? I'll lead in.
Yes,
I'll
sir.
lead. I'll lead in for you. All right, here we go. 3, 2. All right, so now we're all caught up on all that enormous information from Bungie this week. Let's shift gears and turn things over to Mr. SweatySpookz. What do you have for us tonight, Sweaty? You going to explain to me what is this phenomenon called Pokemon?
Absolutely. I'm going to start and preface with. I'm going to try to keep this as short as I can, but there's a lot to unpack when it comes to the world of Pokemon. So if Pokemon doesn't necessarily grab your interest, you may want to skip to the next section. That's your warning.
Okay.
But to also tie it into with what Kingsley was talking about when it came to the RAM, I kind of drew a parallel when he was speaking previously on how big companies, or rather one niche particular group of individuals, will buy up all of the stock for one reason or another, which kind of causes the everyday person a little heartache, a little more difficulty when it comes to whether it's creating your own PC, or whatever it is, right? So recently, so I've been a fan of Pokemon since 1996, 30 years. This year, being 2026, would mark the 30th year anniversary that Pokemon has been around. Now, I've on and off did the cards, but I've always played the games. When I say the games, I'm not talking about Pokemon Go. I'm not talking about Pokemon Ranger or anything like that. I just mean like the main streamline of games like Yellow, Red, Blue, Sapphire, Ruby, Emerald, all the way up to the most recent, which is at the moment Scarlet and Violet.
Yeah.
But in diving back into the trading card game, recently I just got a Switch 2, and the way I did that, I had heard somewhere along the ether that Pokemon cards had some value to them, and some people were making money off of them and stuff like that. And I thought that was interesting. So I went digging in the closet because I knew I had a couple of tins that I had bought years ago. And they were just sitting in a closet where I left them when I bought them. I took out those tins and I brought them to my local card shop. And one card that I had was a Charizard. And that netted me $435.
Damn.
And there was a slew of other cards afterwards, but essentially I was given the option to either have $850 in store credit or walk out with $700 cash in hand for something that has just been sitting on my shelf for the past 10 years. So I opted for the cash, so that way I could get myself a Nintendo Switch 2
There you go.
so I can continue participating in Pokemon on the Switch 2 platform, being my mainstay. Now that I started back at zero, I have recently just started getting back into collecting the Pokemon cards again. And it's very eye-opening. If you were going just to your regular card shop, like your local card shop, I mean, you're going to have a great experience. I've come to learn that the newest or latest line of Pokemon cards that are releasing are going to be the cheapest. The value goes up as they age. And that all starts by the time that the next line of cards drops. So it's just interesting because whenever you get let's say you were to buy something that's called an ETB or an Elite Trainer box, it comes with 9 packs. It comes with flip coin if you were playing the game, sleeves that are specific to the set of cards that you're buying. And it's just a nice little collector's item, essentially. But whenever you open your packs, you get some what are called bulk cards or just regular playing cards. And then you can get some foils, reverse foils, and then you can get some holographs. But what I'm learning is that there's now new rarities of cards, not just full arts, but something that is called an SIR, which is Secret Illustrated Rares. So in another 10 years, a Secret Illustrated Rare is going to be some big money. It's interesting coming from a collector's point of view. Now, the reason I'm bringing all of this up is and where I'm tying it back to Mr. Kingsley Mack's topic is the topic of scalpers. Because I didn't really understand, like, I understood that they were a nuisance for the community. I knew that they drove up prices, but I didn't understand what, why, or how it all worked. So to give an exact example, the most recent line of cards that had released in my local area anyways, is it's called Perfect Order. It is a sub line from the Mega Evolutions line of cards that are being released. And I got a ETB, otherwise known as an Elite Trainer box. And it comes with a promo card. That promo card is probably worth maybe $5 right now. But if I were to go online in my local Facebook marketplace or for whatever reason, there are people selling that card at $115 just because. So, and they're selling to people that are unawares of what all this is and what's going on. There are people that will go out there and spend that much money, admittedly, which is why it keeps happening. So essentially, scalpers, what they're doing is they're going to the cheapest places where they can buy these cards in bulk, in mass, taking most of the inventory without any care in the world about the actual hobby itself to resell it at a higher price. Basically, it's a flip if you want to look at it that way, which is unnecessarily driving up prices and making stock minimal for those that are like genuine participants. And it's only a select few people that are doing this. So I could kind of understand where Kingsley was coming from when he was talking about the RAM earlier, because I was looking at my topic and I was like, I see what's going on here. So let's see how scalpers affect prices. They create artificial scarcity. New sets hit shelves or websites and are wiped out almost instantly, leaving nothing for everyday collectors and casual players or kids or anyone who just wants to buy at normal retail. Forces everyone else onto the secondary market where prices skyrocket due to low supply and high demand. So an ETB that should cost $50 to $60 MSRP often ends up selling for $150 plus right after release. Singles cards get inflated too, and it's really frustrating. But whenever you kind of see how that works, you learn to stay away from the private individual sales, or at least there are routes that could be considered trusted, but it requires a lot of research and just being familiar with the environment that is the trading card game, which is kind of half the reason why I stayed out of it, because the whole idea of all of this just seems scary to me. But we have a local card shop in my town where I live. There's multiple different card shops. Actually, over the weekend, we went to our neighboring province, New Brunswick, or in American terms, our neighboring state. We call it province because Canada's weird. We had a nice little lunch date. Me and the wife, we went over, did a little bit of shopping, went out for lunch, and afterwards we went and bought Pokemon cards in their local shop, which was a much bigger selection, may I add. It was a great experience. And we got the experience of pulling those SIR cards, the really nice rare cards, and we understood that right now, if you were to look it up, this card is just released, so it's scarce. Not a whole lot of people have gotten their hands on this card yet. It's $175.
Damn.
5 days go by, and at the end of that 5 days, okay, more people have bought this set. This card is in more people's hands now. It's now worth $125. And there's an app that helps you identify that. It's called Collector. So COLLECTR. No E between the T and the R.
Okay.
So what you do is you can either write in the part number for the card, or you can scan it. You can pay the one-time $8 a month fee to have unlimited scans, or get 30 for free. And it'll scan the card and it'll say, okay, this is your card. This is the sale price that it's going for right now as a single. And the cool part about these cards that's new to the scene that I have never seen growing up 30 years ago is you can get these cards graded. And I think this has been a service that's been around for a while, but like I was unaware of it. So now, once you're a part of the hobby, you kind of get to see it. So let's say you have that $100 card. In about 10 years, ungraded, that card may be $500. You get it graded. Let's say it's a 10 out of a 10. Complete, pristine card, perfect spacing, no damage to it. That $100 card could be worth anywhere between $15,000 to $25,000. So it's a collector's thing, but it can also turn into an investment at the same time, as long as you take care of your stuff. But you know, it's a fun little hobby thing, and that's really all it is. So that's kind of what I'm getting into now. In terms of just in the world of Pokemon and the games itself, the environment of Pokemon, why has Pokemon been so popular all these years? It's a collector's thing, 100%. Not only is it a collector's thing, but you get a new world with each region or Pokedex for that region. So you get some exploration. Excuse me, I'm burping. I'm trying not to burp in the mic. Forgive me. You get a new region. You get the fun of adventure and exploring. You get the collecting thing going on. And then on top of all of that, there's like the mechanics and recipes involved that will allow you to essentially chase a target Pokemon. So what I mean by that is RNG plays a big factor in Pokemon as a whole. As an example, in the games, your trainer ID and your secret ID are going to be two things that influence the seed that the game starts with, and as time goes on and the amount of frames that pass and the new seeds that are generated, are some of the mechanics that allow for randomizing to determine what nature your Pokemon's going to have. And nature determines one stat up, one stat down. As an example, modest will increase your special attack, but lower your physical attack. Really good if you're looking at someone like, let's say, Alakazam or Abra, even a psychic type that uses confusion rather than something like Cut. So that nature is really good for that Pokemon. But if you have, let's say, a Machop or a Machoke or a Machamp, that's a fighting type Pokemon. You want it to have an adamant nature, which is going to increase its physical attack and decrease a stat that's not relevant to the stat package for that Pokemon. There's other things as well, such as an ability. They also have hidden abilities and everything like this. You can breed Pokemon to produce an egg. And there's also what I personally like doing in Pokemon, which is shiny hunting. What's shiny hunting? Well, in the OG Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3, so red, blue, yellow, gold, silver, crystal, and sapphire, ruby, emerald, the odds for every single Pokemon that you see in that game is 1 in 8,192 that it's a different color. That's all shiny is. It doesn't give you a stat boost or anything like that, but let's talk about Charizard as an example. An iconic Pokemon that most people will understand. It's an orange dragon. When you get its shiny palette, it has a special little animation to identify it as a shiny, but also it's black with red on the inside of the wings. It's kind of a flex to show that you invested time in order to produce what would be a special Pokemon to you as a trainer. It's also a testament to your patience and your dedication to the game in order to represent yourself and your personality as a trainer in the world of Pokemon. So there's a lot of different avenues and niches to be filled in the world of Pokemon. I'm just kind of discovering the cards and stuff like that all over again just now. But yeah, in terms of the video games themselves, excluding Pokemon Go, excluding even Pokopia for now, I have it. I just haven't played it a whole lot. My wife beat it. But yeah, like the mainline games of Pokemon have been a staple through my entire life. And there would be periods where I would go without playing it, or I would have an interest in something else, be it Call of Duty, be it Destiny, or anything else that's not a Nintendo product, because you can really only play those games on a Nintendo product.
Mm.
But like it's always been one of those things that I always come back to, and every time I come back to it, I dive into it hard, because it's like I always have a chase in the game. And it does have multiplayer faucets to it as well, but it's not necessary in order for you to enjoy what Pokemon has to offer to you as a player, but it is a nice bonus. Now, of course, if you're trying to complete your Pokedex, you're going to have to do some type of multiplayer, whether it's local area network or over the internet at some point. You're going to have one version of the game, somebody else is going to have the other, and there's going to be exclusive Pokemons to each title that you're going to have to trade back and forth in order to either trade evolve, such as Ghastly into Haunter. Now, from Haunter to Gengar, you need to trade it in order to get Haunter to Gengar. Same thing with Alakazam to Kadabra to Alakazam.
Mhm.
So what they were trying to do with the different versions, Red and Blue, Ruby and Sapphire, Scarlet and Violet, is each world has exclusive Pokemon, and in order to complete your decks, you would have to trade with somebody that has the other exclusives. So it at the time that it come out, there was no internet gaming. It was literally a link cable between your two Game Boys.
Mhm. I
So you would
remember
have 7, 8, 9, 10-year-old boys in elementary school going to the bathroom to do a trade on their Game Boys or something like that. Like, that's how it all
that.
started.
Remember my son doing that. Yep.
Yep. But it was a way to encourage social interaction, encourage to play with your friends. And a lot of the time it's like, oh, I found this. Oh, well, I found that. No way. And especially once you get into shiny hunting, there is a large audience out there that really enjoy, like, I still to this day have not found any other game that can reproduce the dopamine hit that comes from literally performing the definition of insanity of doing the exact same thing over and over and over again, expecting a different result, because the RNG aspect, you could get that shiny Pokemon in your first 5 attempts, or it could be on 70,000.
Jeez.
And the longer it goes, the more boring it gets, and it's hard. But when it finally shows up, I've had moments where I've knocked my computer chair back, stood up screaming back and forth, had my wife yelling at me to shut up because I'm too loud. And it's, like I said, just the biggest dopamine drop that I've ever felt in any gaming franchise ever. And I mean, if it's on stream, it's awesome too, because your audience, if they happen to be there the moment it happens, like, they're just as excited to see you get it. And they're gifting subs and all this whatnot. It's just a big hype moment is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
well, I'm curious, because there's a lot of tabletop card games out there. Magic the Gathering being one we talked about just last week with Destiny's thing.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Yep.
I mean, you can really get into it. And I'm curious, 30 years this has been going on. I'm curious if the pandemic actually reinvigorated. I know Pokemon Go was all what you wanted to do because you wanted people to go outside, during the pandemic. And I wonder if that had something to do with the resurgence of it. If do you think that had something to do with it, or has it just been a strong, solid game all the way through? Has it had any dips in its lifetime, you think?
It's definitely not had any dips in its
crazy, man.
lifetime. But I will say that with the pandemic, that certainly soared the
Pokemon Go
trading
was
card
helpful.
game aspect of
Yeah.
it. Same thing
Yeah.
as across the board, whether it's video games or watching movies. Like,
Mhm.
I know that you're a big movie
Mhm.
buff, Todd.
Mhm.
It's the same thing with the
Sure,
trading card
sure.
games. Most people are home and wanting to collect things. There would be streamers that would there's people that will pay streamers to not just for the box, but like with a surplus, to have them open the cards on stream and
Yep.
then ship
Mhm.
those cards to them. Like, they'll pay
Oh, wow.
almost double for
Oh my
whatever
God.
reason, because they can, I guess.
Jeez.
it's insane.
I
But like
yeah.
it's a big market.
I know there is
Yeah.
a podcasting guru named Pat Flynn. He's very big, multimillionaire, who started a Pokemon channel during the pandemic because he wanted to do something with his son. I'm trying to remember the name of the channel now because it's on the tip of my tongue, but dude, he's got 2 channels now with Pokemon. And he does a daily short. Do I open it or do I leave it sealed? It's like do I open it or do I leave it sealed? And he's got t-shirts with that saying and everything. And when he does open it and it's not that great, he says, I should have left it sealed. It's like a daily little contest, to see what they're going to get. And, I guess that's a dopamine hit, I mean, that's why we play Call of Duty and kill someone and we go, oh yes. Or, any type of game we play. But another question I had about Pokemon, and forgive me, I'm a Gen Xer. I didn't have Pokemon around. This is something my son got into. Do you actually play with your collector cards when you're playing Pokemon against someone else? Or do you keep those separate from your playing cards that you play where you're playing? I mean, because there's games you can play, right, with Pokemon? Like a card game,
100%.
like a tabletop?
So this really is dependent of the individual.
Okay.
Very similar to our conversation earlier in terms of what makes a game successful, right?
Mhm.
There's people that collect cards like myself just to collect them.
Right.
But there's also people that are like competitive card players.
Mhm.
They hold big esports events on a big stadium.
Right.
They'll fly you to Japan. And there's a big cash reward and everything like that. And it's televised. Pokemon is one of the biggest entertainment phenomenon ever because it has a very unique core recipe that has been around since it started, blending video games, trading card games,
Digital
anime,
games.
merchandise. And it just kind of morphed into one of these cultural juggernauts that's endured the past 30 years. Not to mention that because it can appeal to such a young age, there's constantly a new generation being introduced to it. And then the people who are getting older have carried it with them forward, like myself, this whole time, So it just keeps getting bigger.
That's awesome. Kingsley, you have anything you want to mention?
Yeah. On the trading thing, it's very intriguing to me, even though I'm not into Pokemon. I do, well, funny side topic. I kind of wish I had my first gen Garbage Pail Kids cards. I hear they're worth something. Especially because they had to like make a lot of less crazy ones because of some lawsuits going on. But
I remember those.
I get it because I've been starting to do a little bit of trading in Diablo, and you don't need to, but to play the game. But I decided I would go into it. And my question is,
especially for runes.
So in Diablo, they have like the big source, and this is almost like it's not like quite scalping level, but it's like going to be the most expensive one. They have Diablo.trade, which is like, well, you're going to find the highest prices there because the market will all kind of show what people are giving for things. But if you want to get better prices, you go into the community discords.
Right.
And so I'm in a couple of Diablo discords, and then you find people to trade. Some people will know about Diablo.trade and then source the price there and try to talk up they want a higher price. But like, I guess that's the question is like, is there enough? Do you like finding these smaller communities that will just trade off of more fair values versus the highest value?
Well, yeah, I mean your local shops, right? Your local shops,
like
you're more if you have some cards that they don't, like as an example, me and my wife, we both just kind of started collecting together. I had a card that she wanted, and she had 2 cards of the equal value, but she wanted my card more than she wanted those 2 cards that were of equal value. So she offered to trade those 2 cards for the one because it meant more to her. And I was like, you know what? That's a fair trade. Let's do that. So it's really just a bargaining between 2 players is really all it is. Now, of course, you can always go to the internet and there's always other offers and options out there. Like as an example, today my wife discovered this app called Whatnot, where streamers essentially have large stocks of things, and maybe once or twice a week, they'll auction off some of their stock at a cheaper price. So she had something called a Ascended Heroes poster set, which was valued at $175 MSRP. She paid $13 for it. and it was an auction bid that she had won at $13. So she won that as opposed to going to the store and paying the 175 plus tax, right?
Awesome.
So
Yeah.
there's ways that Pokemon has, I don't know, it's like it's built its own community of communities, which is, I've never seen anything quite like it. I certainly did not think that it was going to get this big. Like, I knew the first time I held a cartridge in my hand that it was going to be big, but like this cartridge, for the audio listeners, you can't see it, but I'm holding up a device called a GB operator with a cartridge inside of it. This piece of hardware allows me to play cartridges on my PC, but the cartridge that's in there right now is Pokemon Emerald from the 3rd generation of games. So you have the 1st gen, red, blue, yellow, 2nd gen, gold, silver, crystal, and then the 3rd gen, ruby, sapphire, and this one, emerald. This emerald cartridge, at the time it was released, was maybe maximum $60. This cartridge now is valued in Canadian dollars. It's probably cheaper in America because we pay more here. Now valued over $300 for this piece of plastic.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
It's crazy. So what turned out to be just it's not a phase mom thing has turned into generational investments for your old stuff as long as you take care of it.
It's very true. Yeah. Mohawk, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, I think that's one of the coolest things about Pokemon is that it's lasting generations. I mean, starting in 1995, those who were kids then, those who were kids then are parents now.
Yeah.
They're getting to show their children how cool the games are, how cool the Pokemon are in general, having them babies crawl towards like the stuffed starters.
Yeah.
Like the plushies.
Yeah, like the little plushies. I think it's the funniest thing. But yeah, like I think that is one of the absolute coolest things about Pokemon. And we have also seen it go from console generation to generation. I mean, Game Boy, DS, Wii, Wii U, and then both the Switches. Like, I think it's just it's fascinating, honestly. And here I have the topic of getting bored with games, but like that community in and of itself, I feel like gets excited for every new release, whether it's good or bad. And my husband is one hell of a Pokemon fanatic. He got me into it.
Nice.
When we had our little bedroom in his parents' house, like we had Pokemon posters all over the wall. He was teaching me how to play. So it's one of those things that like not only multi-generational, but like it keeps going because like the community just keeps sharing. There's always something new, something to teach those who may have not been introduced to it yet or just have a little bit of knowledge on it. But like it's grown. I think it's continuing to grow and grow and grow.
That's amazing.
And it's fascinating. It really is.
Yeah.
My absolute favorite thing about it too is it's something that I can bond with my daughter over, and both of us genuinely have a good time together.
Exactly.
And, it's unbelievable. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. I love that my whole family, me, my wife, and my daughter, like are all into this franchise and genuinely enjoy spending time together over it.
I think it's important because with the rise of Web3 and NFTs and all that type of thing that's going on today about digital products that you can't physically touch, it's nice to have an actual card that you can admire the sheen on it and how rare it is and what each character does. And it's hard. It's rare to see that today with something that's lasted 30 years, man. That is amazing.
I know I'm taking up a lot of time, Todd. I'm going to try and wrap it up, but if it's all right with you, I'm going to go grab my favorite card that I pulled recently just to show you, and then we can move on. Is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, I'll be right back. I won't be long. I just need to go grab it.
Okay.
Yeah, who knew that like a bunch of animated critters would become such a phenomenon?
Well,
honestly,
that's the Nintendo craze, man. I was there when Nintendo first entered.
Yeah.
And you started to
Mario's
love these.
still doing it too.
Yeah,
all the Nintendo stuff. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
What are we
so I'm
looking
going to
at?
try to describe this for the
Okay.
audio listeners, but what I am holding in my hands is an ETB, an elite trainer box.
Mhm.
So this is the box that it comes with to hold your cards. And whenever we open it up, we take a look inside. You can probably see some of the stuff here.
Mhm.
This is like the custom sleeves as an example to put your cards in
Ooh.
and to store them. They're really pretty and they're specific to the set. Now, if I can pull it out without bending it, because this is a $100 card that I just pulled the other day. There it is there. Put it up to the camera. See if you're able to see that.
Yeah, we
But
can see it.
this is from the Ascended Hero, Mega Evolution Ascended Hero set. And this card is a Mega Meganium X. It's a 2 gold star rarity. And in the bottom left corner, it'll say like 3 out of 217, meaning it's a
Wow.
third card out of a set of 217.
That's pretty
But
rare.
this one says 272 out of 217. So it exceeds the number, which means that it's a secret illustrated rare, which
Wow.
brings the
Even more rare.
value immediately to 3 digits.
That's crazy.
So this is a new card. The older this gets, and it's in a what's called a top loader, which means it's a thick sleeve over top of the actual sleeve to protect it.
Right.
The older this card gets, the more it goes up in value. And if I send it off to get graded, even more value.
Nice. Is it worth the paying someone to grade it? Does it really make does it really raise the value enough to offset that?
It could make the difference between 3 and 4 digits
Wow.
worth. So
Okay.
it's definitely worth it.
Okay.
100%.
What does it cost to grade a card? You know?
Well, that depends because do you want it done immediately or are you willing to wait
No, I'm
for it?
patient.
Is it one card? So,
Yeah.
okay. So if you're sending in a single card and you're willing to wait like 75 days as an example before you get the card back,
Right.
It could cost you like $50
That's
or
not
less.
bad. That might be worth the investment. Yeah.
Yep.
Especially if it
And,
goes
I
from
mean,
3
the
to
card
4
could
digits.
go from $100 to like 2,500, $3,000.
Wow.
Now that's a
Okay.
new card. As it ages, it's just going to go up and up and
That's
up. Like
crazy,
there's
man.
cards that are $100,000. I think
What?
there was in the news, Jake Paul's brother sold a special illustrated rare that sold for over $1 million. 16 million. So like
Oh my
this whole collection thing is
That's
a
insane.
lot of fun to get into.
That's insane. You're talking like expensive artists there. Yeah, Deep Pocket Monster is the name of the YouTube channel. And he has a Short Pocket Monster as his shorts channel. And his name is Pat Flynn. He's 40, he's probably Kingsley's age. He's in his mid to late 40s. And this guy just decided to make this channel out of scratch because he wanted to get involved with something with his son during the pandemic because he was home. And Deep Pocket Monster is his long form stuff, and Short Pocket Monster, I believe, is his shorts. And this guy's got millions of followers. I mean, he is huge. And my God, this is a guy who was a podcast guru. He taught people. He taught me how to use. I took one of his courses to figure out how to use YouTube as a creator. And he has very good courses because he actually holds your hands and shows you. He doesn't just tell you. He shows you how to jump in and look at stats and look at your studio and all that stuff. And if you notice, my channel kind of didn't blow up, but it definitely got partnered very soon after I took his course because I started putting out Destiny content for new players and stuff. And that was all inspiration from him. But if you follow that channel, Deep Pocket Monster, and I'm probably talking to the void here because everyone's probably already subbed to him because he has like 3 to 4 million subscriptions, I think, on YouTube alone. And I'm sure he's on TikTok and all those places too. But man, it's just phenomenal, man, what this franchise has done. And I don't know, it's always mysterious when it comes from Japan, you know? Something about Japan gives that extra little bit of mysteriousness to it.
And I'll close out the topic with how the idea was created. So there was a gentleman that goes by the name of Junichi Masuda.
Mm-hmm.
And when he was a boy, he had always liked collecting all the different types of grasshoppers that were out in the grass. And eventually he ran out of space to hold them all. And they would die, things like that. So that's where he got the idea of a Pocket Monster collection. And by Pocket Monster, putting the two together, we have Pokemon. So that's kind of how the idea had come about.
That's amazing, man. And how long ago was that, you think? You know when that is? Like
I'm
in
not
the
100%
60s,
certain.
70s maybe? That's weird.
I'm gonna say it was somewhere in the 80s, late 80s,
Okay.
early 90s, and then
Okay.
he executed. And
collectors.
obviously, you know, the brand was born in 96.
That's crazy, man. Yeah, I like I said, I'm a Gen Xer. We didn't have that as a kid, so it's hard for me to bring it along to my kids because it was never anything. I mean, I played with Army men and Matchbox cars, man. That was my thing when I was, you know, I used to set up wars in my bedroom when I was a kid, and the Matchbox cars versus the Army men, and I'd set up battles and reenact them. That's what kept me busy. Probably why I play solo games so much, because I always like just doing stuff myself. It was that introvert in me. But anyway, thank you, Sweaty. That was a great topic, man. I don't think we talk enough about stuff like that, and that's what I love about this show, man, is we can talk about other things other than Destiny. We can bring in other perspectives from the world of gaming, and I mean, you sure as hell did. So thank you, sir. Appreciate you, man. All right. Last topic is me right after this. Thanks, man. That was good. You really prepared well for that, man. I appreciate that. I could see it.
Sorry if that ran a little long.
Not at all, dude. You're right on. We're right on time. We're right on time.
I like hearing you talk.
I do.
Especially when you
I tried
say
to keep it
sorry.
as relevant as I could and wrap it in
No,
around other narratives.
you did really good, man. You did really good. I wish I could talk more as matter of factly like that. It just takes time, I guess. But I usually have to go by an outline and go by that. So that's just the way my brain works. All right, let me get a quick drink real quick, because I got some talking to do.
I also have 30 years on the topic, so that helps.
Well, it does. It's like me with 30 years in pest control. People ask me a question about pest control. I'll not only tell them what the insect is and why they're having the problem, I'll tell you, you know, their life cycle and how many babies hatch out of their egg capsules, and more than, and my customers, you know what's great though about that is my customers stand back and go, this guy is not fooling around. This guy knows his shit. So
This is the real deal.
I usually don't get the know-it-alls coming back at me.
You're an IRL Pokemon trainer. That's what I'm hearing.
Pretty much. You could say that. Yeah, you could definitely say that. Okay, let's get to some my topic here, and there we go. Okay, let me draw it up here. All right, here we go. 3, 2. Okay, for the final topic tonight, I got a great question from a member of our community, and instead of waiting to answer it later in the show, I decided to make it a topic for me. And I, of course, I have my 2 cents I want to add to it as well. But I want to read it here first. This is from our buddy, Dadbod Hero. He says, as the gaming industry continues to evolve, especially within the live service space, success is no longer defined solely by gameplay fidelity. Instead, a game's ability to welcome players, guide them, and retain them through intuitive systems has become just as important. This raises an essential question. How important is onboarding compared to gameplay quality when determining a live service game's long-term success? Arc Raiders appears to prioritize accessibility and player-first design from the outset. Its structure emphasizes clarity, clean menus, understandable objectives, and gameplay loops that feel natural even to newcomers. In contrast, Marathon faces an uphill battle due to the studio's struggles that are also seen in Destiny 2, by the way. As a newer player stepping into Destiny 2, the experience felt very overwhelming almost immediately. The game introduces layers of quests, currencies, vendors, and menu systems. And can we mention the portal? Holy cow, the pop-ups. I mean, come on. If you have seen my new subclass, in quotes, that I have looked at 100 different times, one more time, I'm not going to rage, but it sure gets me close to doing so. Nonetheless, this game creates friction, not only because the game lacks depth, but because it fails to translate that depth into something approachable. It leads to another critical question. Is Bungie's complex design philosophy a strength that rewards long-term players, or is it a barrier that prevents new players from ever coming close to reaching that point? If a player spends more time trying to understand where to go rather than to actually enjoy the gameplay, frustration inevitably sets in. In today's gaming landscape, that frustration has its consequences. Players are no longer limited to their options. They can just simply move on. So then, a game with a steep learning curve can truly thrive if players never make it past. It can never truly thrive if players never make it past the first few hours. I have certainly lost interest due to the constant frustrations with navigating menus and not knowing what to do and where to go next. Marathon isn't a game for me, and I'm okay with that. I feel this is where Marathon faces the real risk. If Bungie carries over similar UI complexity and onboarding shortcomings, it may alienate new players like me, and I'm sure thousands of others, before they ever reach the core experience of the game. If this happens, another question emerges. How much responsibility do developers have to adapt their design for new players versus expecting players to adapt to the game? In a crowded live service market, leaning too heavily on player adaptation feels increasingly outdated. Meanwhile, Arc Raiders has the opportunity to meet modern expectations head on. Today's most successful games respect the player's time. They reduce the unnecessary friction, teach through action, and build confidence early. This approach doesn't eliminate depth, it paces it. Which brings up another important consideration. To what extent should developers simplify systems without sacrificing the complexity that keeps the long-term player engaged? Cognitive load also plays a major role here too. When too many systems are introduced too quickly, players experience mental fatigue. From what I've learned from other, quote, seasoned Destiny veterans, this has been a persistent issue, and it serves as a cautionary example by Marathon. By contrast, a more gradual onboarding process like the one Arc Raiders seems to aim for allows players to build familiarity and momentum rather than feeling lost and discouraged while navigating the game. Ultimately, the success of a live service game depends on its ability to build and sustain a community. Communities don't grow if new players can't get past the front door. So the final question becomes, what matters more in the long run? A game's depth or its ability to clearly introduce that depth to new players? Marathon may well deliver incredible gameplay, as Bungie has consistently proven its strengths in that area time and time again. However, if the studio does not address its long-standing onboarding and UI challenges, it risks repeating a familiar pattern like losing players, not because the game isn't good, but because it isn't approachable. In a world where accessibility often determines longevity, the difference may be exactly why Arc Raiders ultimately comes out ahead. I want Marathon to succeed, but if Marathon succeeds, then Bungie succeeds. And if Bungie succeeds, Destiny succeeds. So I thought that was a great topic. I don't know where he gets his
30 questions, or are we answering one of them?
He's pretty much he's pretty much asking the same question. He's just phrasing it differently.
Not really.
Well,
okay.
But I have my
me.
I have my input on this. I definitely do. Go ahead, Mohawk. Go ahead. What's your comment on this first?
I have very differing opinions between Arc Raiders and Marathon. If we're going to start comparing,
let's hear it. No, let's hear it.
I fell in love with Arc Raiders about a month ago after my podcast host actually said, here's $40, go buy the game, come play with me.
Nice.
And I was like, okay. Yeah. And then I started playing with Sweaty. It was great. But I did do the server slam for Marathon, and I was so disappointed. And that's not me comparing it to Raiders. This is me purely talking about Marathon. The new player experience for Marathon, just the tutorial itself, I felt was meant for those of higher skill and those who are, seasoned, I guess, in the gunplay of Bungie's previous titles, especially Destiny.
Sure.
I couldn't even get myself through the tutorial. I consider myself very low skill. I could not get past that extraction point at the very end.
Okay.
Because it felt like the bots were just very strong, but there was no guidance as to, hey, here's how you protect yourself, here's how you do this. Hide behind cover, which I get it. That's gamer sense in itself. Yeah. I don't know. Arc Raiders, it felt like a freaking warm hug. I'm very new to extraction shooters. I have really enjoyed anything and everything about Arc Raiders as of this point.
Okay.
And I know there are a lot of people who are really into Marathon and consider Arc Raiders a baby extraction shooter. I got after a couple community members of another community just the other day because one of the guys is just always shitting on Arc Raiders as being a baby game. whatever. They have their own matchmaking things in terms of PvP, PvE, etc.
Aggression-based matchmaking, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I feel like Marathon maybe wasn't as welcoming to new players as Arc Raiders was, or really any game. And I do see the parallels between the new player experience of Marathon and Destiny 2. Now, my new player experience of Destiny 2 is almost 6 years old at this point. So I don't even remember what that's like. But I do know that I struggled a lot with Marathon just in the server slam. I ended up skipping the rest of the tutorial so that I could go play with my friends. And I think one of the coolest things about Arc Raiders is its accessibility and the aggression-based matchmaking.
Right.
If you're higher skill and you want to go fuck around with someone else's day, absolutely go do so. You can go in those lobbies. If you just want to feed your chicken some plastic scraps and pick up some seeds at the end of the day, then that's your lobby. Go find your mushrooms. Go find whatever the heck you need to craft anything and everything to feed your chicken Scrappy. And you just get to enjoy the game.
Yeah. Like you said. Yeah. I love what you said. Yeah. It's okay to like both, right? Or I mean, it's okay to like one versus the other. I didn't mean both. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's about
okay
skill.
Too.
It's not about new player. It really isn't, because there's new players that went into Marathon that absolutely love the game. I keep preaching to the choir. Marathon's a high skill game. Don't buy the game if you're not into a high skill game.
Yeah.
People weren't listening to me. They still bought the game and then started complaining about it. But Marathon is meant to be a different game, not the new player thing. You can be a new player in Arc and still get confused too. I saw Todd getting confused with menus in Arc.
I was. No, I mean, I'm a shooter guy.
Type of game.
I'm not an extraction shooter guy. It was definitely new to me.
It's about the skill. It's about, and I'm not saying you're a better player if you play Marathon. No, I don't mean that like with skill. I mean what type of skill you like. Do you like to be sweaty? I don't mean sweaty, but you know what I mean? Hi, sweaty.
No,
Hi.
I get it.
Do you like to be sweaty?
No, if you
I'm
want to be
Gator.
sweaty, go play Marathon.
Yes.
I got him, Colby.
Yeah, it's a good point. Good point. Did you want to mention something, Sweaty? Speaking of sweaty.
Well, I was just going to say that I understand where all perspectives are coming from, and I happen to agree with them all. Arc Raiders, I put 80 hours in that game on my first week. Look, it had a hand cannon, okay? It was called the Anvil, and I really enjoyed my time there.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like, it was definitely a bit more welcoming in terms of the lobbying. They held your hand a lot more when you're first starting in Arc Raiders, in my opinion. But going to Marathon, it's not that even. I've personally found it harder. It was just more like there was a lot less comms being used, a lot less. Well, one of the things that make Arc Raiders so much fun is the community aspect of it. There's a lot of, hey, don't shoot, friendly. There's a lot of comms back and forth. People will be talking with each other, negotiating with each other, and then you're writing your own story. That person will turn around and go start walking away, and that person will kill them anyways. There's a whole lot of, okay, so there's 3 teams. Team A is over there fighting the Arc. Let's sit over here and wait for them. And then as soon as they're done, we're going to jump them. And then Team 3 will see Team 2 doing that. No, it's nefarious activity and kill them for the hell of it and be like, yep. And they'll be caught. But they're like, nah, these people were bullying the people who were here before them. So we just took care of that. You guys can have the loot. So, and there's a lot of potential for people to kind of role play in terms of like a sheriff for Speranza holding the exfil. You're coming down to the exfil, put your gun away. I'm the Speranza police. Like there's a lot of imaginary role playing and storytelling that happens in the world. But there's none of that in Marathon. I think in all of the time I put into Marathon, I found a single friendly, and the only reason he was friendly is because he was already in a fight before he knew I was coming around the corner, and I had vocalized, hey, I see you. I just want to get past you to complete my objective. Is it okay if I pass you? He was like, yeah, totally. I'm just looting this guy. And I was like, sweet. But any other time that I've encountered somebody in Marathon, it's always been shoot on sight. So I find that there's a lot less of those opportunities to create your own role-playing narrative in the game, which is a part of what makes Arc Raiders unique. So pulling back to Marathon, it's definitely more PvP focused. And to be fair, that was the expectation that was set for that game. So, you know, it's kind of just knowing what you signed. I did not participate in the Roblox server slam. I call it the Roblox server slam because it's a running joke in our community. I did not participate in the server slam for Marathon. I eventually got tired of seeing all my friends play it and me playing by myself. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy it just to play with my friends. Right. And I had a great time. It was basically all the same people that I used to play Destiny 2 PvP with. And we had a new world, new graphics. Everything felt quite familiar. I was playing Assassin, which was akin to my Hunter experience. So I was kind of able to translate over into that PvP world of Marathon. I still haven't found a hand cannon yet. There's pistols, but I haven't found an actual, like, hand cannon. I'm upset about that, but that's a personal issue. Number 2, Marathon being first-person shooter works for me. I have fun in Arc Raiders, but I really wish there was a first-person mode in Arc Raiders. Like, really, really wish there was.
Like a toggle. Like a toggle.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I could see how maybe the toggle even could be abused, as we've seen in Destiny 2 when people are pulling out their swords to peek around corners. But honestly, who cares? Like, make it accessible to everybody so nobody can complain. I would like to have that toggle option really in both games. But yeah, it's a different world for each game. Yeah. And they both feel a bit different. They both have something different to offer. I like both.
Well, I don't want to muddy the waters too much here because the main point I think Dad brought, he was using Arc Raiders and Marathon as an example, but I think his main question he wanted to ask here was having a new player experience. How important is that for a game to be successful? I mean, that's kind of what my topic was about today. And, how important is that? I mean, is it a make it or break it today, or has games been able to get away with it?
I think like, it's go ahead, Mohawk.
Yeah, we all have opinions on this, I'm sure.
Yeah, I feel like if you, especially with the UI, if you don't like the way the UI is, or even how, you know, gunplay feels in that initial tutorial, then like you're probably not going to want to spend a long time on that game. I really do feel like that can be a make or break for some people. It's a make or break for me, really. As I said earlier, I did the tutorial of Division 2, realized I didn't really care for it. The biggest thing that pissed me off about that was my key bindings, because crouch and jump are 2 different buttons when they're literally swapped in 99% of other games. Yeah. I hear it's one of your favorite games, but that's my gripe about it.
Even the MK snobs say play that game on controller, and I'm not an MK snob.
Yeah, I feel like for me specifically, that is very much a make or break.
Okay.
Yeah, I can typically tell within the first like half hour of a game at this point if I'm going to like it or not.
All right, go ahead, Sweaty, and then we'll let Kingsley. Kingsley's got a lot to say. I'm sure you have a lot to say, Kingsley. Did you want to finish your point, Sweaty? I want to make sure you had your chance to talk.
Yeah, just right quick. While I agree with what Mohawk's saying, for me, what it comes down to is the whole gears of a video game has to be built in the end game, and the onboarding of a new player has to be kind of like a story idea, because the idea of the story is going to be introducing you to those mechanics, and as you progress through the story, it opens up the rest of the game for you. And then once you beat the story, hypothetically speaking, I know it doesn't work for all games, but the idea of the story is introducing you to the game and giving you objectives and things that you need to get done. Once you've beaten that story, then the whole game itself is wide open for you to play, right? And that end game is got to have a continual loop. Now, one thing that I've noticed between Arc Raiders and Marathon both, it's really hard to pin down what is the end game. That I've struggled on that one myself.
For which game? For Marathon?
For both.
Oh, for both. Got you. Yeah. That's. I think that's been more of a problem with Arc Raiders than it has been with Marathon. Marathon obviously is the cryo archive and the ranked systems they put in place now. That's kind of the end game. But with that question crossed my mind a lot with Arc Raiders. I'm like, okay, so once we understand all these maps and we collect all this stuff, what is the purpose of doing all this other than to have more stuff? Yeah, I think they have a very serious problem, especially for the players, the diehard players of Arc Raiders, who are like, what do we do now? We got everything. We got the backpacks. We got all the rare gear. We got $1 million in money. What do we do now? What do we do with that? So,
yeah.
Go ahead, Kingsley.
And that goes perfectly into what I was going to say.
Okay.
It is way more important for the end game and to keep players than the new player experience.
Yes.
Not saying you shouldn't focus on a new player experience
Okay.
at all, but let's put it this way. Think about it. Okay. If you don't have a good end game, then also the new players, when you're all starting a game, will still drop off because you don't have a good end game. So it really doesn't matter new player or not. It matters if you have a good end game. Also, what Mohawk was saying, I think it really goes with different personality types. I know a lot of people, including me, but I was asking people offline last night, if a menu system's frustrating, will that get you stop the game? Most of the people I talked to said no. There's nothing wrong with people that say a menu system will get them frustrated, but it kind of goes with the topic we've had in the past. Can you truly judge and review a game until you put enough hours into it?
Right.
I think it's okay for menu systems to be a little confusing. And it's not so much, I don't mean like confusing, like, well, how to get around. Most people can figure out how to get to all the menus, but a lot of times they get confused with confusing of what things mean versus the actual menu systems navigating.
Right.
Now, if navigating the menu systems is confusing, that's bad. But if not understanding what all the things are in the menu, that's okay. You're not supposed to understand all that for a while. You got to keep playing the game, be patient with it. If that's not your style, that's totally fine. Then maybe you aren't the type of person that should break out to new games.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not saying they shouldn't do something to make it. You don't want to just drop people in with no information. But usually these games will have certain things like, well, here's the beginning of the skill tree. Click on this first. It's okay if you don't know what it means yet. You'll eventually figure it out, or something will tell you. And so that's why I think the end game is way more important than the new player experience. And we've seen this with games like Crimson Desert also, in games where people were a little confused at first, but reviews actually went up over time. It got more favorable once they put more hours into the game. So again, it's way more important, the end game of a game, than the beginning, and knowing what game you're getting into. I guarantee most people that don't like Marathon, it's because of the skill. Because of the skill. It wasn't a game that's for them. It's even if they made the menu system beautiful and everything, we are still going to be having people saying that they don't like the game because it's a sweaty, complicated game.
It's definitely a niche game. And that's one thing that goes against Bungie here. But here's my take on this. When I read this actually statement of several questions, I kind of put my thoughts together on this. I kind of thought about it for a few days before I actually wrote something down. First, I agreed with something you said in last week's show, Mike. And I know somebody clipped that. And that was the gaming industry.
You say too.
I know. The gaming
talking back and forth.
the gaming industry is due for a correction this year. I think it really will. And as I think about this more and more, and also combining the facts that live service games that have been released in the last few years have really struggled out of the gate. I would say Helldivers and Arc Raiders being the exceptions, of course. I think you might be onto something here, Kingsley. I think developer budgets are going to shrink. I think they're going to squeeze them a little bit more. I think more devs are going to be laid off over the year as publishers are kind of cutting bait and taking their losses like Sony did with Concord. And the jury's still out with Marathon, even though Bungie tweeted this last week that they're supporting Marathon for the long haul. That's final words that every studio that's gone under has always said. I'm seeing this movie. I'm seeing this in the movie industry as well. So many remakes and sequels versus something totally new. movie studios are like gaming studios, or like there were like gaming studios and gaming publishers out there. They're beginning to lean on those franchises that they know will bring in the money. We just saw the sequel of Ready or Not, and how it was such a letdown because the first movie was so funny and gory all at the same time. It was a very unique movie. But as we were just sitting there watching it last week, the magic was gone. But the studio did get me to buy the ticket on the face value of the movie title alone. So they won in that respect. But if there's a Ready or Not 3, I'm probably not going to buy the ticket because I've already been burnt and I've lost that trust. That trust is so important. Second, I think the fact that it took me over 4 hours of gameplay to understand what Marathon was all about and to learn some of the systems and place for the game was a bit excessive. I understand this game is supposed to be more hardcore and as a shooter, but I wonder how many players jumped into that server slam before the game actually launched to only get frustrated and just move on. Bungie does not
want less than 4 hours.
4 hours is, I think me and Rodimus talked about this on stream one night. A lot
of games say 10 to 20 hours.
Yeah.
You should.
Well, I mean, 4 hours for me just to grasp what I'm trying to do, not the full systems and stuff, not the end game and stuff. I'm just talking about just grasping what the hell am I doing? It took me a good 4 hours of gameplay to get into that and understand, okay, this is the loop. Okay. Got it. Bungie does not have a great track record with helping new players jump right into the action and start to see the possibilities of what this game can be, whether in the Destiny franchise or even Marathon. I wonder if this contributed to its shrinking player base, that lack of new blood that became fans of the game. And we see how many new players come into our community wanting to know more about Destiny. As I am trying new games every month now, I'm better able to experience how different studios help guide new players along and even help them through their first experience. So far, Arc Raiders was much more inviting as a game of the month in February. And I'm going to continue to go back and experience more of the game as I learn the maps, if I understand, how to craft and buy and even fight different AI enemies in the game. I'm not there yet. I just don't have the time yet. I think that's made me like Arc Raiders more than Marathon right now, because even though I prefer a first-person shooter game more than a third-person perspective, but I think as gamers today, we have so many more options on what to play. And if I'm trying to learn a new game and it gets too frustrating, then some of us may just go back to our black hole games like Call of Duty was for me, or Destiny 2. I think familiarity is big as we tend to stick to games we know very well and maybe try other games less frequently, especially if we've had a bad experience trying a new game. I think another factor is the gaming player base is aging. And as we're becoming working moms and dads, we have less time to devote to learning new games or controls. And some of us just go right back to our comfort games. But if a studio
at that point, right.
Go ahead.
That point right there, Todd, just kind of lends itself to what a small point I wanted to make, that in order to get to the end game, in my personal opinion, I don't think it should be a prerequisite to play hundreds of hours of a game in order to access the end game. I think that's where
I got things to say on that.
Kind of,
yep.
Yeah. So I'll just leave it at that.
I totally get where you're coming from.
Hundreds of hours for end game. Yeah. You want probably 10 to 20 hours for end game for most games.
Yeah.
Remember Destiny, when we started Destiny 1, it was confusing.
Yes.
Yet people stuck with it. So, what's different about that? So it can be done. I just want to make sure you're not saying we all don't like that. Only some people don't like that.
I'm speaking generally as gamers here. Not, these are my words, but they're also, but I'm speaking generally as a gaming community. I mean, as we become working moms and dads, we have less time to learn new games and stuff. And I think it's why a lot of us kind of, conglomerate.
Personality thing.
It could be that too. It could be that too. But, that's why a lot of us, jump into certain communities and kind of stick around. I mean, if a studio was really able to demonstrate how badass their game could be and somewhat guide the new player in their first encounter, then I think it does have an impact on the success of a franchise, especially today when there's so much more competition out there. Think about it. Why do we play the same games with friends over time? I think one factor could be just
you're using we.
Well, I just think one factor could be quit getting technical on my ass. One factor could be one factor could be the ease of just jumping in to socialize and not having to worry about messing up or learning new controls. Just sit back, crack a beer, and play. I mean, these are games that you've learned and know how to play.
That's a totally fine thing. Yeah.
The risk, the competition to draw gamers from their comfortable games and communities is getting tougher and tougher. So I think studios need to take that into account. They need to make that transition into a new game they're not used to playing, especially for your new franchise. You got to make it easy for people. You got to guide them through to their first activity and then say, voila, wasn't that fun? Now here's where you need to go next. Go have fun. That's how you bring a new player into a game. Not you start the game and you're like, just go play perimeter. Just jump into perimeter. That's what it says. Go play perimeter. Okay, I'll go play perimeter. I jump into perimeter. I'm like, okay, I'm sneaking around and looking around. I was like, okay, I guess let's go in that building and see what's in there. You know, the first mission in Marathon basically tells you how to look for something on the wall, and it tells you how to get a shield. It tells you how to get a gun, and that's about it. It tells you how to, you loot a package and all these couple enemies come out that are super easy to kill. That's all you have training wise. This is it. This is how you loot. These are the enemies you need to shoot. Good luck. I was like, wow, that's amazing. That's tough, man.
And I think a part of that too is just like giving you, they're trying to encourage you to learn a map. And as you learn a map, that's kind of like as time moves on and the more runs that you do intrinsically, you're going to learn those things.
Yeah.
Because it took a long time for me to find the courage to go to any other map other than perimeter. And a lot of that's just because I'm learning the game.
Yes. You know? I ventured off and did Dire Marsh, and it was a little harder, a little more open areas. People could snipe you a little easier, but I that map wasn't too bad. It wasn't until I went to Outposts that I got my shit pushed in, and I was like, whoa, this is a whole new level of gameplay because the players in here know the map very well. I do not. And people, I mean, I was playing as a Rook one time, and a Rook knew where I was. He wasn't even worried about sneaking up on me. He literally just ran through the door and looked around and knifed me. And I'm like, dude, seriously? I thought you were a Rook. You're supposed to be kind of careful how you play. This guy was just all total aggressive, just went right after me. But the point is that was all Marathon taught you to do. You had a priority contract that you start with the very first faction. And I didn't even know that once you play through all the priority contracts, it opens up all this lore for each of the factions. If I would have known that right off the bat, if it would have said, hey, complete your priority missions because this is what's going to tell you more about the game. Nowhere was that said. And that is what addicted me to Marathon, was getting those little quests done that unlock some cool looking or some cool text or even a cutscene or even some visual voice lines. That doesn't make sense. Some audio logs. That was the cool thing about Marathon, was all that great lore that I'm hearing about how, we sent our colonizers in this area, and this AI interrupted this force from nowhere. We don't know where it is. Totally took over our AI systems, and we all died. And the AIs were being aggressive toward us, and we didn't know why. And then once the being didn't take hold of the AI and went away, the AI never remembered what it even did. It was just creepy stuff, man. And the more you dive down the hole with Marathon, the more crazy it gets. You can ask Scarlet Maddie. Scarlet Maddie's done a lot of the lore entries, and me and him talk about it every now and then in the Marathon channel. And it's crazy, man. The lore is so good. Unfortunately, all this great lore is surrounded.
Game did even worse with that, yet people still played it.
Well,
Destiny.
Yes, yes, but you had third party like Braytech you could look up any lore entry and immediately it would explain to you. I don't know about that or not, but anyway, that was my 2 cents on it. I think in response, I know Kingsley, you're saying that it doesn't necessarily have to be in place. I really think in today's especially live service games, you have to walk a player through that first initial thing. You need to explain what everything is going on. Let them complete it. Let them extract whatever the end game is for that first activity, and then say, see, this is how it all works. Isn't this cool? And then say, there you go. Head over here now and keep playing. What we taught you here, use that over here, but you don't get any of that. And what did we get in Destiny? We got kicked off a ship. We hobbled into the EAZ, not EAZ, the Russian part of Earth, EDZ. We wandered into there and talked to some people at a camp, and the story started coming together, but it came in such small pieces that people just were looking around going, where am I supposed to go next? You know, what am I supposed to do next? You know, and just Bungie has really had a hard time doing that. And I've played a lot of games that hold your hand very well.
Even says he prefers to find it organically. So everyone's different. I think that's the more of the story. I don't think we can say we as gamers want this. Right. I think some people do, some people don't care as much.
That's fine.
You know, which is a fair opinion, and it's okay to have both opinions. Right. But I think the statistics show from marketing, it's more important to focus on end game.
You have that
new player if you have to pick one over the other.
I mean, like I said, that I think that's the Achilles heel right now for Arc Raiders is the fact that the longtime hardcore players of this game, what is the end game? What do we do?
And it's the problem with even Destiny right now. There's not enough content coming out. And it's the problem with because let's say a new player comes into Destiny right now, right? And they'll be excited for a while, but then they'll still have the same problem eventually that we're all having with end game stuff.
Well,
that's aside from the fact that people like to play in groups and raids and everything, but I mean just like the amount of content that's there. Doesn't matter if you were a new player like we were starting Destiny at the beginning, or you're a new player today. The end game is the way more important thing to focus on than the menu systems.
There is an API on the website. Okay, thank you, Scarlett. I didn't know that. Would have been nice. Someone told me about it. You know. Anyway. Shout out to Dadbot.
So if be honest, be 100% honest. If the onboarding made you feel a little bit happier about your life and held your hand and you got a successful extraction, but then after that, you're back in the regular game and it's still a sweaty hardcore game. Right. Wouldn't you still not like it because it's a sweaty hardcore game?
Well, my review of Marathon,
5 minutes,
review of Marathon is next, and I will answer that question. So,
okay.
All right. Thank you, Dadbot Hero. Shout out to you, buddy. Did you have something else you want to say? Kingsley?
No, I said cool.
Oh, okay. Sorry. All right. My review of Marathon, my game of the month for March, is next. All right. I have things to say when it comes to Marathon. I'd love it. I just want the game to be approachable.
See, we are not on schedule.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay. For next part of our show, I wanted to give you a partial review of my experience playing Marathon. I've played it for probably 25 hours now. I'm at level 18, I think. I have played mostly solo because that's my style of play. And again, it's my personality. I like to jump into things and figure things out by myself sometimes, but I have played with triples. I have played with doubles, and I've had a lot of fun doing that as well. I've had experience doing that as well. I think Bungie put a lot of love and attention into the lore, the voice lines, how unique it is to learn all the factions, what they're trying to do, how they're trying to extract these resources from Tau Ceti, and also what went wrong with their teams that, initially landed there long ago. I get a lot of similar vibes with this games to what Trials of Osiris was when it first came to Destiny. It was very sweaty, and only the very best PvP teams would make it to the final area, which was the Lighthouse, or the final boss area, which is the cryoactive map. That's the end game in Marathon. The loot grind, the gear, completing the priority contracts really is what incentivized me to jump in and, I guess, quote, rat in those solo matches. But here's the thing. It kind of occurred to me last week that if I play the same amount I do every week solo, that it would take me about 100 to 200 hours of actual gameplay to reach that end game and get all that nice gold and purple loot. And there lies the problem. By the time that I invest those hours into this game, this refresh will be activated and I'll have to unlock all of my faction upgrades and all of my accumulated gear all over again. I won't have to do the priority contracts again, but if I do make it to the end game and I get all these killer loadouts, how long will I actually get to enjoy the fruits of my labor? I'm guessing not too much time. Kingsley, you always have talked about how our personality types kind of tie into our gaming habits. I think you had a quiz a long time ago that we could all take, which is really cool, by the way. And what I realize is that for the most part, I enjoy solo content. I can be very sociable. I love playing Iron Banner when it's coming around on the 14th with a big group. Our Saturday night raids, they're a treat to me. But as an introvert, I kind of need to recharge, especially also while creating content, which takes a lot of my time as well. I love to be able to jump into a game and, quote, work on something, whether it's to add to my player's strengths or to progress a story. This is why I love Destiny so much. Little by little, I would work towards a small goal. That way, when I felt that I had fun, but I also felt like I accomplished something in my hobby. This was my hobby game. The biggest difference and why Trials was such a success for the Destiny game is that when you watch the elite players compete in Trials on the weekends on Twitch or whatever, YouTube, you had this long-term goal to go back into the main game and get better gear, and also to practice in the Crucible to get better, learn the maps, learn about how cover works, learn how the guns fire. You had the benefit of time to get ready for that eventual dive into Trials. Same for raids and dungeons, Kingsley. As a newer player, we played the regular activities in order to get the better builds, unlock all of our subclasses, get that loot, so that when you were equipped, you could jump into that big raid at the end. This was the carrot that fueled Trials and raids and dungeons for players learning their way through the game. It is what players inspired to be or play. Right now, we're trying to learn Salvation's Edge raid. Can you imagine talking it out, trying to learn the mechanics, only for a rogue fire team to come into the area and wipe everybody? That's what I imagine the feeling would be as you're finally trying to get access to that Crier archive in that final boss room. That is if you ever put enough time into getting that opportunity. I feel that Marathon is based on major FOMO. And as I hate timers in any activity, I feel the entire game is one big timer. So to wrap up my review, I think the Bungie created a very interesting world of Marathon. I love this art style, but I'm afraid to say this. It's just not a game for me. I got very bored just sitting in corners, ratting it out and waiting for other solos to make a mistake. The gunplay is amazing. Bungie knows what they're doing very well when it comes to this, but I'm all about progression. And with the seasonal wipes, I don't see this game doing it for me. I may jump into trios every so often with friends, but for the most part, I'm moving on to another game. As for the extraction shooters, it's probably going to be Arc Raiders because I can do what I mentioned earlier without the worry of any of these seasonal wipes. Here's the unique problem I see with Marathon. They need to do these seasonal resets and wipes because this is the ultimate game of skill creep. Without a reset, the game just keeps getting sweatier and sweatier. No offense, Sweaty. Destiny could alleviate this. They could alleviate this somewhat. Destiny could by doing sandbox changes and adding new content. I don't know what Marathon could do here. I am really worried about Marathon as you look at the Steam charts, and I know we're all tired of talking about Steam numbers, but if you look at the chart, and I'm gonna show it here.
No, because you even said last week we don't know until 6 months down the road, so you don't get to use that now against it.
No, just hear me out.
Yeah.
This is the overall since it was launched. What do you see here? I see a slow, but very gradual decline of players on this game. And I think the reason of that is...
Same on Arc Raiders.
But I think the reason... and Arc Raiders still has hundreds of thousands of players, though. It's a different scale altogether. But yes, you're right. The end game, that's a problem. And you got people that are getting bored and leaving the game. But man, I'm only like 8 hours, 10 hours, maybe with a tournament. I got 12, 13 hours maybe in Arc Raiders. I got so much stuff to discover still in that game. But it just seems like it's a slow fall off of players ever so subtly, week over week. And I think other players are moving on as well. I mean, I'm sorry to be a downer here, but I've come to terms of what games I enjoy playing. And ultimately, Marathon will not be one of those games. So here's what I see over the next year. I think Bungie will make major changes to how seasonal wipes are done. Maybe they'll introduce something that can carry over into the next season, or maybe even add that safe pocket that I keep talking about. You know, they have the mechanic already in the game. It's called data cards. You grab a data card, you unlock it, it uploads the information, and that XP is already added to your end game, whether you extract or not. If you could do this with some kind of material that you really need, like 2 copper cores or something, I could just do it. I got enough to do my next node on my faction. And now if I get killed or sniped or whatever, I don't make it out, no big deal. It wasn't a fruitless run because I got what I needed. I went to where I know they are. I got it. I uploaded it. Done. If this isn't successful at bringing back players, and I'm going to predict it right now, I don't see Marathon making it. And I think it might actually be shuttered by March of 2027. I think Sony will give it a good year, but this is my official prediction. I think Marathon will be shuttered by 2027 of when it was released.
So
Comments?
2 questions. How come you haven't said that about Destiny? Destiny's had a way bigger drop than Marathon. You're not saying Destiny's going to be shuttered.
Destiny's not out of the woods. You want to know?
Okay. And then the other.
Go ahead. What's your question?
So do you think Destiny might be shuttered by 2027?
I think, man, I hate to say this. I think Bungie needs to shutter Destiny 2. They need to give Destiny a time to cool.
Fair about it. Yeah.
No, I think Destiny needs to cool.
Yeah.
I think what they need to do though, if Sony is smart here, do what the movie studios are doing right now. Come out with a Destiny 3. Because like that is what is going to sell games, is that name, Destiny 3. Marathon, I think what was against Marathon from the beginning is it's such a niche game. And if you're not a sweaty PvP player, it's just like Trials of Osiris. How many people play that every weekend? It's a fraction, 1% of the player base usually. I think that's what's going on with Marathon right now. I'm sorry to all my friends who love this game. I'm not trying to shit it on. I really not. I've just come to terms with it that I'm just not going to be able to put the time in by the time they do these seasonal wipes. But I think that they have to do these seasonal wipes because can you imagine the skill creep? You have people who have 500 gold, I mean, not 500, that mean have like 10 gold shields. And here I come with my little green shield. Who do you think's going to win that game? I mean, the weapons are pretty equalized. I got to give him credit. The weapons, you can use a white weapon against a blue weapon or a purple weapon. And other than a few additions that make the weapon a little more accurate or maybe give you some benefit from killing somebody, I think the weapons are very balanced. The problem is the shields and health. That's what's not going to be balanced. And I think that's where that skill creep is going to keep getting worse and worse. And they're going to shit on players. They're going to go to perimeter because they don't want to play the sweaty stuff all the time. They're going to go play in the public, just like Trials players would jump into control matches in the Crucible and dump on people. You'd have a full fire team of 6 killers that would just wipe out and mercy us poor little weekenders jumping into play, no matter what skill level you were. And you feel like, well, that was a waste of time. But that's what I think is going to happen with Marathon. It's just the way PvP is, man. I just don't know. I don't know. Anybody have... Yeah.
Actually, a lot of people do like resets. Like even if you don't like it, like Diablo, a lot of people like the resets. It gives them. I totally get people that don't like it also. So
you know me, man.
So
I'm a collector.
Diablo does do a good job of it.
Yeah. Diablo does a really good job with the wipes.
Do you get in? Do you get in? Let me ask you something with Diablo. Do you get to keep anything? Do you get a benefit for wiping or sticking through it? Or do you just totally start over?
No, I mean you can if you don't want to do the seasonal content, and then you're in a different.
So you have
world.
to just
you're
in a different player
Eternal
base.
Realm.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but if you want to do the new stuff, the seasonal content, you have to start over, kind of like how Marathon would be. Okay. Marathon doesn't even give the option to have an Eternal Realm. Anyways,
what was your other question?
So I obviously knew this game wasn't for you. So the question is, were you hoping it would be for you? Did you not think about it ahead of time?
Well,
Or were you just going in hard headed? I want to give the game a chance.
no, I
what do you
gave
think
I
came
gave
with
it
all that?
I gave the game 25 hours. I think that's plenty of time to test out a game. Most single player games, that's about most campaign last, right? About 20 to 30 hours. So,
But still, did you just do it for the fun of it because it was a Bungie game? Because like I knew the game wouldn't
no,
be for you.
I love the gunplay,
Yeah.
no doubt. But what really hooked me was what hooks me in Destiny. It's completing quests, completing bounties, accumulating currencies, accumulating all these materials so I can upgrade the nodes on each of the factions. But when that all gets wiped, after all the time I built up putting into it, the problem is this game is not for people. This game is so much FOMO. If you're not there playing every day religiously, you are going to be left behind.
That's what I'm saying.
This is what I
Didn't
noticed.
you know that before going into it?
I did not think it would be. I just didn't. It's all new to me, man. Extraction shooters are pretty new to me, and I figured, you know what? Let's get the priority contracts done. I want to learn all the lore of this game, and then I'll get all those done, and then I'll have all these cool weapons and stuff eventually, and then maybe even I'll be able to go to the Cryo Archive. I'm kidding myself, man. You're definitely not going to do it solo. Solo is a totally different game in Marathon. Playing with a group, I was so casual, so not worried about getting shot at because I had buddies who could cover my back. But when you're playing solo, you're on pins and needles. Like you said, it was like a horror game. You're on pins and needles walking around the map as quiet as you can. It's crazy. What's up, K-Mars?
Yeah. Well, the only reason why I try to warn people, see, you have the money. It doesn't matter dropping $40 on this game, and then it's not for you.
I invested in Bungie. I invested in Bungie.
Yeah, there you go. I always try to warn people though, like, yeah, please don't complain about the game if I'm trying to warn you, like what type of a game it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then they still buy it, and then they're like, wait, I was hoping it would be an easier game. No, I told you it's not supposed to be an easier game,
I knew.
Yeah.
Here's what I didn't realize. I saw that they had a solo mode when I played the server slam. I'm like, perfect. I love playing solo. I always played solo Crucible. I jump in and I would adapt to my to my other 5 men on the fire. I got really good at adapting and using what skills I had to at best advantage to help my team win the game. That's what kept me playing Crucible for so many times. But then if you didn't have those 2 other guys to go run in trials on the weekend, you were going to get shit on, man. And it gets frustrating. And what has Destiny done? They've made it where you get participation trophies now. All you have to do is play. Just come play our game, man. Just play trials and we'll give you shit after every match. Win, lose, or draw. You'll get stuff. And they've made cards easier. Flawless is easier to get. All you have to do is get 7 wins. No matter how you get them, you play all weekend and you get 7 wins, you're going to the lighthouse, buddy. I just think they're going to have to do this with Marathon. The problem is it doesn't fit this type of game. And
they don't want to do it. And that's okay
I know.
if they want to keep the game a certain way.
They're going to have to bend eventually. I mean, so Joe Ziegler's already talking about making changes. I don't know if he's doing the prison pocket. I don't know. He mentioned it was a secret for solo players who get downed. I don't know what that means. So anyway, I try not to be a downer on this game. I gave it a fair shot. I think if they eliminated, I tell you what, if they eliminated the wipes, the seasonal wipes tomorrow, I would probably still jump in and start building up stuff if I knew that I wasn't going to go away. It's probably why I'll never play Diablo.
But then they would lose all the people that do like the idea of the wipes. So it's a tough situation.
They're in a tough spot right now. And I know.
They made the game for hardcores. They definitely did.
I hear you, Scott. I hear you, Scarlett. I know, man. Joe Ziegler cares about the game. Hopefully him and the team can carry it. Updates have been quick, so hopefully they can keep it doing good work. They have to be quick, Scarlett, because they're bleeding players little by little. They're bleeding players. They have to make changes. They're just grasping at straws right now. They're throwing anything out there, and they're throwing something out there, and then they're looking to see, did that make a difference? Did it bring people back? No. Okay, what else can we do, guys? I have a feeling that's what's going on right now in Marathon headquarters. And, Sony's looking through the window. They're in the big studio. They're looking out on the window at all these guys scrambling around in the shop floor below. And they're looking around going, they look pretty panicky down there. I don't know. Maybe we should just pull the plug now. It's just kind of what I envision. Sorry, that's a little dramatic. I love being dramatic. If you haven't figured that out yet.
I don't think they'll pull the plug now when they did say they have a multi-year
they'll give it till
plan.
March. They'll give it till March. And I think finally they'll pull the plug.
Yeah, a year would be the minimum, I think. And if they're going to pull the plug, it would have to be a year. At the
That would
minimum.
give it a fair shot.
I'm not saying they're not going to do that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's a 50-50 chance they actually would. Because here's the thing, even though I'm standing up for like they're making the game they want to make,
Right.
they also have to realize that they're getting less people with making this a more hardcore game. I'm not saying they shouldn't have made an easier game. I'm saying they wanted to make this game.
Yeah.
And if you want to make a game that's hardcore, you have to be okay with having less people
Right.
liking it.
Yeah.
And that it is what it is. So
Well,
I don't know. I mean, we said this 5 years ago when we first heard about Marathon, or at least I did. I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know that they should be making this game. I actually said that if you go back and listen on the podcast.
believe me, dude, we played
that
the, we
being
played
said-
the, we played the closed alpha, and we're like, this just, I don't know, man.
With that being said, the fact that they want to make this game and they want to keep it hardcore,
Yep.
it's fine to stand up with that. Now, of course, money is always an issue, you know.
They're already in the red still.
Like people that want to have a club and only let certain people in.
Mhm.
Oh, you should let more people in. It's okay to not be
Yeah.
okay with that idea. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if you want to have a certain type of game or a certain type of club or thing like that. So
Well, Mohawk, you had your finger up. I want to make sure. Did you have something you want to mention, or?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I really did enjoy Marathon when
The server
I played
slam?
it in the server slam.
Hmm.
Yeah. And I enjoyed, I remember watching YouTube videos and it popped up as a trailer. It's gorgeous. It really is such a beautifully looking game.
Yeah.
But it's not a game that I have the skill set for.
Understandable.
But the thing I was shaking my finger to was Croc saying, wait until the end of Sony's fiscal year for 2026, and you'll see a huge change in what happens in the game, good or bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's going to
well,
come
Destiny
down to.
too. Yeah.
Mhm.
Destiny
Yeah.
also. Yeah.
Sweaty, you've been quiet over there. What do you think of all this, man? What do you think?
It's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
I think it's just a game that fits different personality types. I think Kingsley
Yeah.
was right whenever he mentioned that. I do feel like this game is more geared towards the PvP player. I can't say that I enjoy the idea of losing all my stuff at the end of every
Yeah.
season, but I can also appreciate that it would mitigate skill creep, or power creep, I guess is what I'm looking for there.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time really putting any eggs into any one basket, because what I am noticing in the present is they're very responsive to feedback right now.
They're very well.
Mhm.
And who knows how it's going to turn out? Who knows what direction they're going to take? I think it's just going to be one of those games, personally speaking, where it's just one foot in front of the other. For the moment being, I don't have a ton of hours in the game yet. I just enjoy going in there, messing with other people. For one gaming session, all of my runs was just a goal of, are there any friendly players in this game?
Yeah.
So I literally ratted myself out. I come around a corner, I know somebody was there, turn on the voice comms and be like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
And then they get scared and start shooting or whatever. So for myself personally, I'm just having fun with the game as it is. I'm not really aspiring to get into the end game or crypto archive or whatever it's called at the
Correct.
moment,
Mhm.
because I recognize that only being level 30, I'm going to have to invest a lot more time in order to expand my vault space, in order to get better tiered loot, so that way I can venture into the harder difficulty areas. Like, it's just going to be a big time suck. And rather than stressing about it, I'm just going to enjoy it for
Just have
what it
fun.
is at the moment. I mean, I enjoy jumping in there,
Yeah.
playing the PvP aspect, especially free kit.
Yeah.
Because whenever you go in free kit, you have
Mhm.
nothing to lose but everything to gain.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of fun that way.
Yep.
But again, I'm tempering my own expectations. I'm not going to set, and there's a reason I didn't play the server slam. I didn't play the Server Slam. I didn't follow the news about it. I didn't watch anybody's reviews on it. I had zero expectations going in, so I had nothing really to lose other than maybe the few dollars that I paid for it. But it was a good price point, about same price as Helldivers.
Yeah.
So here on out, it's just like, how do I enjoy playing this game?
Right. Don't
aspire to much, and just see where it goes from there. That's
fair.
really all I'm doing with it.
That's fair, man. And I mean, I think if you play with a group, your levels go way faster. You actually complete, if your teammates complete contracts, you get credit for that. So I mean, you're exponentially, I think if you play with a group, you got friends that like to play it, I think you can have a good time. But if you're playing solo, it is hell. It is just a slog. And I'm tired of, sorry, Scarlett, I don't like that rat life. I'm not a rat. I just can't do the rat life, man. I can't be the rat. I can't do it. I get my ADHD kicks in. I have to start moving, man. I need to start checking out some other areas. So anyway, I'll leave it at that. Cause I know we're running late. I want to make sure we catch up and see what's going on in everybody's lives here before we check out for tonight. We'll do that right after this. Thank you, JD Kent.
Hi,
JD Kent for that gift sub to Kmars. And Mikla wanted to say thank you, sir. 7 months, man. Sub on Twitch. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. JD Kent, man, he has really supported our community, man. Fantastic, dude. Thank you, sir. All right, let's catch up a little bit, and we'll answer one question, and we'll call it a night, guys. Right? Sound good?
All right. Sound good?
Here we go. All right, before we go tonight, I want to just go around the table, check in what everybody's doing, see what's going on in their life. And Mohawk, I want to start with you. What's been going on in your life? I know we checked in just briefly at the beginning, but what's going on in your life right now? How's Mr. Mohawk doing too, by the way?
Mr. Mohawk is great. He and I just celebrated our 2nd year wedding anniversary.
Yes, good job.
Yeah.
Excellent.
It's been great. Married life is so cool.
It is.
I am, of course, still at the bakery,
Nice.
which I celebrate my 4 years with the bakery on
Nice.
Saturday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
In terms of gaming, I haven't done a whole lot. I do participate in a lot of Elmer Fudd tournaments,
Yes.
Fortnite, Marvel Rivals. There's been a couple smaller events for Dead by Daylight and Rainbow Six Siege that I have competed in recently. Rainbow Six Siege was a trash fest, but it was fun.
Okay.
I'm really into Phasmophobia right now, whether I'm playing solo or with friends. If you're not a horror game person, then that's totally cool. I am a horror game person, although the only ones I play are Phasmophobia and Dead by Daylight. And if you've heard me on shows in the past, you know that I'm a big Dead by Daylight fan.
Awesome. That's a big franchise.
Yeah, it is. Despite how its developer is.
Yeah, I've heard
Some of the people on the developer staff are just...
Is what it is, right?
Yeah, it is what it is. I think the last time I was on the show, I was just starting out as a co-host for a new podcast called Beyond the Level Up.
Right.
Ranger and I are doing very well on it.
Awesome.
We try to do an episode every single week. Sometimes mental health gets in the way, and y'all, it is okay to be struggling at any time. And we really, that's one of our main focuses is, our podcast is very much centered around hobbies and life surrounding hobbies. And that includes, our mental health, our physical health, and all of that. So we do just occasionally miss an episode.
That's fine too. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
That's become one of my absolute favorite things to look forward to. We even have a book club that's in our little community. I will totally drop that link at some point.
Do it. Yes.
If anyone would like to come join our community again. Yeah, we definitely need more people for book club. Our book club runs every month. We do a live episode on Twitch for it. And it's just...
I can't
It's a
wait
fun
to talk
time.
Aragon.
I know we are doing Aragon for the book for March, the very first book.
Okay.
We just finished up the second book of Dungeon Crawler Carl.
Okay.
It's a wonderful little group. There's like a group of like 4 of us who have kind of been running book club. We'd totally love some more people. So shameless plug there.
Oh, plug
If
away.
you're a book lover and gamer,
Yes.
come join us.
What's the
It's a
name?
lot of fun.
What's the name of the podcast again? Let everybody know.
The podcast is called Beyond the Level Up. You may find us on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, and Pandora.
Oh, yeah.
Wherever you may find all of your podcasts.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah.
Amazon, not Pandora. That's right.
I like the concept of your tying mental health in with gaming. I like that concept. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
It's nice. That's cool. Cool way to look at things. Mr. SweatySpookz, what are you up to, brother? Other than falling down on ice and hurting your shoulder, what's going on, man?
Oh no.
Yeah, it's wonderful, isn't it?
Yeah.
No, I'm good. I can't really complain about a whole lot. So it's funny because the shoulder that's injured, Todd, on the most recent BBL episode, I was telling you about my shoulder injury last year, which was the other shoulder.
Right.
So same injury, other shoulder, not as severe, thank goodness.
That's good.
But what I was telling Todd in the previous episode of BBL was I was laid up for a long time due to a pretty severe shoulder injury. And I started back in jiu-jitsu, started worrying about making sure I'm eating the right stuff. I'm training, and as a byproduct of training martial arts, my mental palate is a lot cleaner. I'm trying to rewire my brain from a lifetime of self-destructive habits and remove that, earn some respect for myself as a person, as an individual. Because while a lot of people understand the idea of a bully in the sense that they're harsh on other people, I never had that problem. I was always harsh on myself. So I'm trying to rewire my brain to not do that anymore and to have some self-respect for just myself. That being said, though, that's just a part of it. Everything's going pretty good at home right now. The only downside for the at the moment, wife's not feeling very good right now. She's sick as a dog, and the little one's just getting over it. Wife, of course, got sick from the little one, so they're recovering. But that aside, we just bought our first meat box from the local butcher shop, which is I've never done this before. I've never gone and bought locally sourced meats from a butcher. It's always just been grocery meats. So tasting like real prime rib steak from the local butcher shop compared to like the cheap, really bad grocery steaks has been a night and day difference.
Nice, man.
I have 15 months clean of cannabis.
Awesome.
That's after 15 years of daily use. So
Wow.
now that it's April, it's 16 months.
Awesome, dude. I'm proud of you, man.
So we're eating clean, we're eating good.
Oh yeah.
Keeping a good mental palate, earning self-respect, taking care of the family, holding down the fort, and we got a new rig as well. The old car was falling apart and cost more to keep it on the road than we paid to buy it.
Right.
So we got rid of it, and we got a brand spanking new SUV over, well, I guess it would have been the summer just passed. And that is a really big stress relief for us as a family.
Definitely.
We're able to travel to see my brother-in-law who lives 2 provinces over.
Nice.
And we were never able to do that with our old vehicle. So it's been a slow, gradual crawl of improvement. And, sometimes like right now with my injury, there's a couple of steps back, but the difference this time is I'm not looking at myself as, well, I'm worthless. Why do I even try? I give up. Like, I'm not doing that negative self-talking stuff anymore.
It's good, man.
Just recognizing we're all human. We all make mistakes.
Yep.
You're going to have setbacks in life. But what's important is you get back on the bandwagon. You try to keep, as best you can, a positive attitude. And when you're not straight, you find your person. And You come clean to them with whatever it is that's plaguing your mind. They hold you accountable and you move forward. And that's all it is. So things are
Absolutely.
good. Things are good.
Absolutely, man. It's good to hear, man. I'm glad you have that mindset. That's really important. That's a spiral you can definitely go down, and it's not always good. It's not always good. I mean, I've been in business 32 years, and man, we have had our ups and downs. But yeah, you have your eye on the prize. You never look down. You just keep pushing forward, man. That's all you can do. Yeah, that way you never get stuck. You're always moving forward. Mr. Kingsley Mack.
I think my biggest lesson.
Sorry.
Just to close out. Sorry.
Yeah.
My biggest lesson over all of this is to give yourself some grace.
Absolutely,
that's really
man. We're our most hardened critic is ourselves. And sometimes we just need to give ourselves a break, It's important. Mr. Kingsley Mack,
Yes,
what you up to this week, man? Anything
Yeah,
new?
I love what everyone's saying. I actually
Yeah.
want to spend, I won't take a lot of time. I want to spend more time just
Mhm.
going off what everyone's saying more than what I've been up to. But Mohawk, love everything you're saying about, mental health and the podcast. And
That's
definitely
awesome.
interested in checking out this book club potentially because I like a variety of stuff too. And I've been enjoying gaming, but I could see potentially wanting to get into another group. So I'll check that out for sure. Seems like a fun thing. It's always fun having you on the show, and Sweaty, you too. And I like what you're saying about the not being hard on yourself. I mean, I don't luckily have as much of a problem with that myself, but I still do a little bit. And it's good to remember that. I also love what you said about the locally sourced meat and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
once you taste the good stuff, it's easy to become a snob and not want the other stuff, right?
Very true. Very true.
Oh man, local vegetable. I just got myself a called a garden. It's a hydroponic indoor garden thing.
Oh, yeah.
And boy, holy cow, the mostly a lot of leafy greens so far, but also have some celery and some other things on there. Tastes a million times better than the stuff, you get at the store. So and obviously too, with you having local bakery stuff, Mohawk, that would be, I would love to try that sometime if I ever have the opportunity versus the shit that you get at the stores.
We my wife and I, there's a vegan bakery at Disney Springs. We always try to get one of those cream cookies they make. Oh my God, they're so good. But my sister has celiac disease. They tested me when they did a colonoscopy. I'm good, but my sister has to deal with this. It's so tough eating out. It's just so hard when you have that disease. It's so tough,
It's
man.
a rough life.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. What's up, Bill? What's going on, man?
But other than that,
yeah.
just real quick, I've been enjoying Diablo, of course. I'm looking forward to the seasonal reset coming up so I can try the new Warlock character coming out. Division just started their new Year 8 Season 1 update today, and so far it's looking really fun. Looking forward to hopping in with some friends here maybe tomorrow night or soon. And Destiny, too. I'll always leave the raid talk to you, Todd, but I've also been enjoying a little bit. I mean, I'm only putting like half an hour here and there into it before I get bored, but it's fun doing the boss rush activities because they bring back these things that you haven't done for a long time. So like I said, to me, that's as close as I can get to newer content because it almost seems new because you're like, oh, I haven't done this forever. And doing it on a harder mode at least gives you a challenge to try something else out.
I'm Bright Dust Poor, that's for sure.
I have tons of fun games. Yeah, I always have tons of fun games I'm into. But yeah, the Diablo and the Division are my main ones, right? Oh, and Crimson Desert. I keep saying Desert Crimson, but Crimson Desert. Oh,
I'm playing that right now.
Be confused with that game, Todd. Hopefully you don't give it up. But it's fun.
It looks really good. I'm excited. And you said I can gather stuff and gather resources, so I'm in, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to jumping into it.
For a long time, and that's okay. No. You're supposed to just be more open-ended with this game.
No.
Don't worry about trying to figure out everything right away.
No,
just go in, just be chill about it.
I can't.
Don't worry about the menus. Don't worry about things. Just give it a long time, and hopefully you'll like it.
I've heard so many good things about the patches they put in, so I'm looking forward to seeing what's changed or how they've improved things. You said that you're already moving faster now, so that's a good thing. So, yeah, good deal, man. Let's see. For me, I'll make it quick here. My wife and I saw 2 movies this week at the theaters. As I mentioned earlier in my monologue, We saw Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. It's a continuation right where the first film left off. My wife and I really enjoyed the first one. It was a mix of blood and guts and comedy and all that good stuff. The story felt serious as the main character is finding out she married into this demonic family that supposedly are devil worshippers and they rule the world and whatever. And you're rooting for her to get revenge. But in this sequel, it just didn't feel the same. It just felt very much the same thing and nothing new, no new twist or anything. Just kind of got boring. The characters aren't as believable, very predictable. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 74%, IMDb a 7. I disagree on this one. I gave it 2.5 stars. It was just not great. So maybe a cheap Netflix night, movie to stream. The second film we watched was a new documentary out. It's the same director who made the doc Navali. It's a film called The AI Doc, or How I Became an Apocalyptimist. If you figure out what that word means, you'll understand the film. An apocalyptimist. Yeah. It was
I like that word, apocalypse.
Yeah, it was a term he made up in the movie, and you'll see why he makes it up. It's a little over an hour and a half. The director interviewed various people in the AI industry, including the CEOs themselves of all big 4 companies. It, of course, starts out with the dark side of AI, and then it balances things out with more optimistic things that AI can do and how we can become superhumans and all that, and how our lives will totally change. It'll be a Destiny era where we'll be the golden age, right? We'll ascend. But it didn't really answer the question, are we doomed? But it balances both sides of the argument, and then it asks us to get involved to keep AI in check. And I thought it was good. It was entertaining. Because we had done so much research, Kingsley, on our past show on AI, on our AI episode, I felt like I knew a lot of this stuff already, but my wife hadn't, of course, heard all this stuff. And it was good to get a refresher on it and to actually hear the actual CEOs themselves put it on the record what they think. And there were some really tough questions posed to them, so it was really nice. Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 87%, IMDb a 7.1. I thought it was good. 3.5 stars from me. I did, of course, play some Marathon last week, ratting it, playing solo, and we all know how that turned out. Shout out to my raid group. We ran more Salvation's Edge raid this past Saturday. We got to the final encounter. Shout out to Allocate, Running Red Lion, Sin, Bob, Zombie Pops, and of course, Mr. Kingsley Mac for hanging out last Saturday. I did stream it live if you want to watch the replay on it. This week, we're actually going to start with the last encounter where we're fighting the Witness and then run the beginning, loop back around and play the beginning again. Hopefully that exotic will drop for me. When I beat the Witness, it's only my second time through. It'll be my second completion if we do get it done. But that's it for me this week, guys. Before we go, I want to answer one question that we got in our Discord, and then we're going to call tonight because we're definitely pushing for time. This question is from Crocs in our Discord. I think he's in our chat right now, in fact, as well. And the question was, as someone new to Destiny 2 community, it feels like the biggest hurdle isn't the gameplay itself, but understanding how to even get started. It is so overwhelming and semi-pointless to continue to even try to navigate the menus. This seems like something that could be massively simplified. At what point has Bungie taken accountability and acknowledged it as a long-standing onboarding and retention issue? Do you think Sony is willing to continue investing into the game due to the success of Marathon if player trust and accessibility continue to be a barrier for the growth of Destiny 2? Who wants to answer that first? I know Kingsley has an answer, but
I feel like we already answered it.
Yeah, we kind of did. We kind of did. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
He was in the chat tonight. I want to make sure he just put the question in. I think.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I think it's important, as I mentioned in my topic, that Bungie has a good onboarding system, because I think the portal system did nothing but shrink the game down into one page, and it's unfortunate. But just know that there's other places other than the portal system to rank up, not to rank up. Unfortunately, you got to use the portal system to rank up your number go big, number go up. But there's so much content as far as all of the past campaigns. I would definitely play the Final Shape campaign. That's where I would probably start, and just go from there. Just go from one campaign to the next, and you'll have hundreds, 30, 40, 50 hours of gameplay right there, Croc. So,
ultimately it doesn't matter. Like Destiny 1, I feel like personally was even more confusing, And when I jumped in, there's a million things lit up on the map, not any order telling you what to do, which
Yeah.
visually was more confusing than at least going through menus.
Yeah.
But I just started doing things and I had a lot of fun, and I didn't worry about really what I was doing and got it done.
It's an encyclopedia of a game. So there's a lot to know about everything from build crafting to playing Crucible without getting your butt kicked to knowing the encounters and the raids. What's that?
Here's another thing. This isn't the reason why I want a Destiny 3, but this is how you actually get more new players, is making a Destiny 3. There's no way we can simplify Destiny 2 that much. There's just so much in the game. I'm not saying you shouldn't try, but you need a new game if you really want to bring a bunch of people into it.
Yeah.
See, even Bell in the chat says, and he doesn't play Destiny right now. So I guarantee with everything in my life, it would be way better if they make a Destiny 3 versus putting more development into this.
What we need in Destiny is a fresh jumping off point. We need a place where everyone can come together and play and start again like we did in Destiny 1 back in 2014. That's what we really need. We just need a do-over. We need to start over. And of course, it goes without saying, all of the quality of improvement, the quality of life things they've implemented in the game and more and better quality of life stuff has to be brought forward into the new game to make it even easier. And they can start by making a new player campaign, make a new light campaign that actually makes sense where people understand what's going on. Starts with it. I really think they need to start there because you have to always be getting fresh blood into the game if you want it to be a long time success. So anyway, thank you, Crocs, for your question. That's it, guys. We are approaching that mark that I don't want to approach. So I'll just say this, MohawkAngel, thank you again for coming on the show tonight. Please give a shout out to anybody you like. Also plug your podcast again and where people can connect with you.
So yeah, you can find me on the podcast, Beyond the Level Up. My co-host is a Rollerwind Ranger, who's also a former D2 player. He's extremely new to the community, but he's also become my best friend and basically my older brother here in the Discord communities.
Very nice, man. Very nice.
Oh.
Well, thank you again. Mr. SweatySpookz, please plug that tournament you got coming up too, sir, because no, it is marathon, but it's playing with a group in marathon, not ratting it out as solo. So make sure you mention that too, man.
Yeah, 100%. So my name is SweatySpookz, one of two co-hosts over at the Blueberry Lounge Discord and podcast. Our good friend Elmer Fudd, double M double D, likes to run some tournaments from time to time, as Mohawk alluded to earlier. So we have been inspired to try running a little tournament of our own. I don't know that anybody's ever done a tournament within the environment of marathon before, but in terms of balancing and fairness, I thought if duos is going to be around, why not do a free kit duos kill race?
Oh yeah.
So that'll be Friday, May the 1st for 2 hours starting at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard. You and one other partner sign up, create a team name. You'll get 1 point for each robot that you kill. You'll get 3 points for every player or runner that you kill. And you'll get an additional bonus 5 points per match that you successfully exfil. The idea is start every run with a free kit. You can use whatever you acquire during that run in order to progress your run. And whenever you start your next run, you start off as a free kit again. Why duos? Because there's no rooks, and it's the easiest way to ensure that team balancing is the most fair. Yeah. Meaning, a team of duos in the regular playlist isn't going to have to face a trios. Things to that effect. So better balancing, fair playing field for everybody. And 2 hours of fuck shit up. Why not? Pardon the French, but that's essentially what it is. So, May 1st.
May 1st, sorry. Go ahead.
Yep. May 1st, Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard, duos kill race free kit tournament hosted by the Blueberry Lounge. Myself and Native Raider will be showcasting it. And Yeah, I mean, it's starting to get closer to that date. It's obviously just the beginning of
It's
April.
true.
We're probably not going to say too much about it or send out reminders until about 2 weeks out from it. At that point, you can expect to see some @everyone's in the Blueberry Lounge Discord. If you're not in the Blueberry Lounge Discord, just either ask Todd or myself, or even Kingsley, and anybody that's here tonight in terms of hosts or co-host or guests.
I'll put the links in the show notes for our audio listeners.
We'll make sure you get an invite if you're interested in participating. If you would just like to simply watch it, go to twitch.tv/SweatySpookz, ending with a Z. You heard me, American friends. I did say Z because I am Canadian. So yeah, twitch.tv/SweatySpookz. It's spelled exactly how it sounds. If you need a link, I'm sure somebody here can get you a link as well.
Well done. Thank you. I love what I love about that tournament. Everybody's on the same playing field. You have to use a free kit. That's awesome.
Yep.
What I would probably do if you're playing Marathon right now, they give a different factions free kits. Start stockpiling a few of them. Because if you don't like the gun you get with one different faction, Mida's giving you a little bit better weapon. Start stockpiling those, man. Save them. That way they're still free kits. And then you can use
correct.
more of a weapon that you like to use. So thank you, sir. That's gonna be fun. I'm probably gonna jump in and do that because it's so even. It's on an even playing field. So, and like you said, with duos, there's no rooks to come and take your stuff. So nice. Thank you, sir. Thank you, man. Thank you for coming on tonight. That is it, guys. We appreciate everyone who hung out in our Discord live stage, who hung out in our Twitch channel and in our YouTube channel tonight. Thank you for your input in the comment section as well. I know we had a few hot topics tonight, so we appreciate everyone hanging in. And yeah, that's it, guys. So whether in your game or in your life, get your reps in. Later, Guardian.
Later,
Reps are all in.
Bye.
I don't need any more reps.
Some people, as you said last week, some people need less reps than others, right?
No, I'll change it every week, unless you want me to say the same thing every week.
No, that's fine.